This is the Born of Levi experience on G.O.C.C. Media.
Yes, and yes. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings, family. Oh, it feels so good to be back.
Are you not entertained?
It feels so good to be back. How are all my brothers and sisters doing this evening, I should say, not tonight, right? How's all my brothers and sisters doing? We are back. Welcome back, brothers and sisters, to the Born a Levi experience. Okay, I am your host, Deacon Hazak of the Gathering of Christ Church. How's everybody doing? It's been a long time, man. It felt like ages, man, but as promised, like I said, I would be back at the end of the month, and how convenient, the last day of the month, right? Praise the Most High for that. I had to drop a bomb for that. But we are here, man. How's everybody doing? And y'all know, listen, ain't nothing changed. Ain't nothing changed. So if I'm coming in loud and clear, brothers and sisters, I need to see them qualms in the chat. Do me that solid real quick. If I'm coming in nice and clear, I need to see them qualms in the chat, family. Come on, help a brother out. Right? All right. Thank you. Yes, yes, loud and clear. Oh man, praise the Most High, praise the Most High. I really hope everybody's been well. You know, the Most High has been truly merciful. You know, I'm humbled, I'm grateful for, you know, everything that the Most High is doing, man. Ah, man, and praise the Most High once again. You know, the move was a success, right? The move was a success. As you can see, I'm in my little studio area now, right? You know, you're getting things set up for you brothers and sisters. Oh man, praise the Most High. And you know, and another thing too, man, you know, shout out to all of the brothers and sisters who reached out to me, you know, who was concerned, and you know, and just making sure everything was going well, man. But praise the Most High, we are here. I'm happy to be here, man. Woo! Praise the Most High, praise the Most High. Right, and if you guys can do me that favor too as well, brothers and sisters, please hit the like button, the bell, and subscribe if you haven't done so yet as well. Right, you know, drive the traffic, share this with your brothers and sisters, with your family. We got a great topic today, man. We got such a great topic going on today. Y'all see the title? It's called Overcoming, right, youthful lust. And this is a topic that I believe everybody needs to listen to, needs to hear. We need to talk about it. I'm excited. You understand what I'm saying? I'm excited to talk about it. But before we start the show, man, right, without you know, I want to start it off with this song. So fitting for today's today's message, right? Bring it up, right? And this song, shout out to King Tazawar, man, for this song. And it's so fitting for tonight's topic, right? And listen, brother, says the video itself is beautiful. So I'm gonna play this song just to get the you know, to get the show started, continue to drive the traffic, and we gonna get right into it, right? This song is called Fuego by King Tazawar. G.O.C.C. Cincinnati in the house. Let's get it.
King Tazawar.
This is the Born of Levi Experience on G.O.C.C. Media.
You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kid an old man like chemo. Find your way back like Nemo. Where you headed is Fuego. You gonna be chillin' with a Zazo. You gonna be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kid an old man like chemo. Find your way home like Nemo. Nemo swimming back home. Dodging sharks like Rome. Real deal shallow wines, no silicone shalom. Coming for the head of state, a dinner plate, wisdom shown to get red.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to run that back. We started off on the wrong foot. Y'all gotta see the visual from the beginning.
This is the Born of Levi Experience on G.O.C.C. Media.
Where you headed is Fuego. You gonna be chillin' with a Zazo. You gonna be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kid an old man like chemo. Find your way back like Nemo. Where you headed is Fuego. You gonna be chillin' with a Zazo. You gonna be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kid an old man like chemo. Nemo swimming back home. Dodging sharks like Rome. Real deal shallow wines, no silicone shalom. Coming for the head of state, a dinner plate, wisdom shown to get ran through, no combs. I'll go to tide when I'm seeking through the fire, I'ma turn into chrome. When iron sharpens iron, I'm alive. My brotherly love, we gon' walk in the Zion. Not a particle, atom, one molecule, but I'm electrified just like an ion. For my avocado, hit the wickedness, I no piata. Am I lying, the king with no kuna matata? Judah tribe through your shot, we on fire. Ain't talking the lighter, we united. When we gain in the soul, we get excited. If your spirit ain't right, you ain't invited. You get cited for lying on the righteous. Ain't divided, we standing together and fighting. No my types of biting, we ain't in the violence. But if you want smoke, we defending our title, ain't getting slighted. We just trying to live right, cause where you headed is Fuego. You gonna be chillin' with a Zazo. You gonna be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kid an old man like chemo. Find your way back like Nemo. Where you headed is Fuego. You gonna be chillin' with a Zazo. You gonna be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kid an old man like chemo. Find your way home like Nemo. I hire my father no, I don't do Allah. We reading the Bible to hell with Kabbalah. Y'all throwing them stones, no, I don't do collar. You know man of the cloth, you have been collared. Higher in heaven, that's the only father. We don't do Jehovah, we dodging that lava. This is one body, we don't do the folly. Be sober minded, we don't do the molly. Get you one wife, we don't do the poly. The righteous gon' party, no game to say sorry. Lion hearted like I'm on a safari. Dietary laws, no calamari. True talk, I don't do the malarkey. Eyes to see like iCarly. We down, no Bob Marley. Coming in light, coming in darkly. Currently marked in like a shark. Ride for mine, no parking. Better proceed with caution. Vengeance the Lord's he often. Better repent before the coffin. So knowing like a dolphin. Be mindful of who you cross. Endure the exhaustion. Where you headed is fuego. You gon' be chillin' with a Zazel. You gonna be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Hit that old man like chemo. Find your way back like Nemo. Where you headed is fuego. You gon' be chillin' with a Zazel. You gon' be toast like a bagel. You better repent for the day go. We gotta come together like a Lego. Take a culture back like a Debo. Kill that old man like chemo. Find your way home like Nemo.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That was King Tazawar featuring Shadaiwar. Like I said, that song was so fitting for tonight's discussion, man. It was so fitting for tonight's discussion. Y'all see the topic, right? The topic is overcoming youthful lust. And if we continue to operate in the flesh and in the lust and all of that kind of stuff, where you heading will be fuego. Like I said in the song. That's why I wanted to play that song. The song was so fitting for tonight's topic, man. I'm gonna get right into it. Right? I'm gonna get right into it. Speaking about youthful lust. And I believe that if we don't talk about this kind of topic, this will follow you, especially if you're young. It will follow you into your adulthood, and you know there will be no actual remedy for what you're dealing with. But the scriptures always provides us with understanding on when it comes to how to deal with the flesh. We all know the scripture, and if you don't know the scripture, I'll just quote it real quick in Galatians, where it says, walk not after the flesh, so you walk in the spirit, so you do not fulfill the lust of the flesh. And now some people might say, how do we walk in the spirit, right? And a lot of people don't really understand that when you hear the word spirit, where does your spirit reside, right? I used to think growing up that the spirit was just inside of you. Your spirit resides in your mind. This is why the scriptures always tells us to renew our minds daily, right? But we're going to talk about that too. I got some really great information that could help anybody, right? Even to this current time, because as long as you're alive, as long as you're still in the flesh, you're still going to deal with these things: lust, desire, right? Wicked thoughts, urges. But there's something that the Most High gave us. And there's another video that I'm going to play as well, too, which is very profound. A sister breaks it down, right, when it comes to dealing with the mind, right? And you guys are going to understand, you guys are going to understand a lot after this broadcast as far as why the attack is in the mind, why they're trying to attack our minds, why they're trying to attack the minds of the children. Matter of fact, why do they even target the children right at such a young age? And this is why you got to be very careful what your children is watching. You got to be very careful, right? I'm telling you, it's a war, but it's not a physical war. It's not a war that you can see in your face, right? And they've been fighting this war against us, and we've been behind the 8 ball, right? They've been fighting against us, but we had no clue that we was living in a war. We just thinking that everything that we see is like, oh, okay, this is good, this is nice, it glitters, I like this, you know, let me take a look at this, but not understanding the programming behind what the enemy has designed on this earth, right? So thank you once again for hitting that like button. Welcome again, brothers and sisters, to the Born of Levi Experience. Deacon Hazak, right? And we're gonna get right into it, right? And it feels like now that we're More so, I believe we're more so towards the end of this whole thing. And it only makes sense that the enemy would unroll everything that we're seeing right now. These little devices right here, right? These devices right here, yeah, it's a benefit, but it was actually given to us to continue to keep us in that spirit of lust. And when I say the spirit, when I say lust, it's not just the sexual part of lust, the physical aspect, right? When it comes to lust, it deals with, matter of fact, let me just read the definition because I can misquote a lot of things. But anything that you desire to the point of you can't resist, that's what's called the spirit of lust. So sometimes we only magnify the one part of lust, which would be the physical attraction, the sexual part of lust. But what about the greed part of lust? That's lust. Greed, that's part of lust, right? Eating in excess, that's also part of lust. Strange desires, that's also part of lust. Money, chasing the bag, that's also lust. So we got to put it in a proper perspective and understand that too much of anything will kill you. Okay? So let me start off by reading the definition, man. And y'all know me already. Y'all know that I love definitions. I love to go into understanding words, right? And for those of you who don't know that, and if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this particular program, welcome, right? And just keep an open mind, fact check everything that I'm saying, of course, with the Bible, because this is a Bible-based show. Okay. We're gonna get right into it, right? Let me get this real quick. Let me open them. And I really hope you guys are doing well, man. I thank you guys for coming in and, showing support and showing love, right? But let's get right into it. 1 second. I'm going to go into the dictionary and I'm going to just read the definition for the word lust, right? Because we're trying to overcome it. And one thing that I want to say before I start, because there's no, it's not a quick fix when it comes to dealing with lust and, desires and things of that nature. There's no such thing as a quick fix. But the scriptures provides us with understanding to help us combat it. Because why? Like I said earlier, as long as we're in the flesh, we're still alive, we're still dealing with people, we're walking around, you're still gonna have these desires, these thoughts, right? Why? Because it was sown into us. When our foremother and forefather ate from that forbidden tree, it did something to our DNAs. It did something to our minds, where now we think with the flesh first before we even think with the spirit. And that's what it's all about. Us coming back to the Most High is understanding how to operate, how Adam and Eve was actually supposed to operate from the beginning, right? Not operating according to their flesh, but operating according to the spirit. And this is why Christ came and showed us so much, and not just the letter of the law, but the spirit of it, right? But we're gonna get into that. Let me read the definition for the word lust so you guys could understand what we're dealing with here. All right? Lust. Longing desire. That's what it says. Eagerness, to process or enjoy. You see what it says? Eagerness. It's not that you can't enjoy things. It's not like you can't possess things, but it's the eagerness of trying to enjoy these things of this world. And listen, the scriptures paint it out clearly for us, right? It says eagerness to possess or enjoy as the lust of gain. So you see, right now we're dealing with the lust aspect of gaining, right? Trying to obtain everything, trying to possess as much as you can. Greed, that's lust, right? It also says this, concupiscence, carnal appetite. You see that? It says carnal appetite, meaning your flesh, like your being, that's all it wants. It wants to fulfill its own needs, right? We know that food is a need, is a necessity. But overeating, that's where lust comes in. That's where the sin comes in, right? We all want to have partners or be married, I should say. I don't want to say the word partners, right? Because we don't do that here, right? We all desire to be married. And when I say married, I'm talking about the marriage that the Bible instituted, man and woman, right? We all desire to have a partner in life. So it's a good thing. But the eagerness of trying to do it and doing it the wrong way, where it leads to you having multiple partners, that's an error right there too, right? So now it's saying carnal appetite, unlawful desire of carnal pleasure, not just any kind of pleasure, unlawful, right? So we got to get into that. We got to talk about the unlawful pleasures, the unlawful desires, right? And I know before a lot of us came into this understanding, and before a lot of us found Christ, we just operated how we wanted to operate. We did what we wanted to do, when we wanted to do it, how we wanted to do it. But something happened when we found the truth, right? Prime example. A lot of us before coming into the truth of Christ, I should say, and understanding that, we come from the seed of Israel, and there's a set of laws that are attached to the chosen people. And the first thing that we started realizing was, one, that these holidays was unlawful. Celebrating Christmas, Thanksgiving, right? 4th of July, Easter, all of these holidays was pagan, right? And we found out that we shouldn't be following these things these days, because the Bible have a set of days that we should be following, right? So what did we do? We had to change the way we thought about these holidays, and we became converted. So now it's showing us here what? That the change started where? In the mind, right? Nobody put a gun to your head and said, hey, stop putting up a Christmas tree in your house. Nobody did that. It was your mind. You told yourself in your mind, we're no longer doing this. And what happened? You no longer do it, right? When it came to eating unlawful foods, seafood, shrimp, crab, pork, lobster, all of the unclean foods that's written of in Leviticus chapter 11, right? When we found out that those foods was unclean, what did we do? We made a conscious choice and said, you know what? I don't need it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want it anymore. So what did you do? You actually told yourself that. And in your mind, you already decided you're not doing it. Now the smell of certain foods is like, turns your stomach. It makes you feel like, because why? You've convinced your mind, and your mind was able to change the way you change your appetite. And that's how powerful our minds are. And this is the reason why the attack is on the mind. Right? That's why the attack is on the mind. Right? So we see the definition there. We see the definition there for lust. So now we're gonna talk about all of the when it comes to lust, all the forms of it, and we're definitely gonna talk about how to. One second. Just put it in the chat if I'm coming in clear, because I'm getting a message on the screen. So help me out, brothers and sisters, and let me know. I don't want to just be talking, just talking to the screen, right? But yeah, so we're going to be talking about what can we use, what tools are we going to be able to use. Okay, it was a little choppy. Okay, it's clear now. All right, praise the Most High. All right, we're going to talk about what type of tools we're going to be able to use, right, to be able, to aid us in this fight that we must fight daily, right? Because it's a fight, it's a battle, right? And one thing that I like about what Christ said, when you read it in the book of Revelations, Christ said to the churches, to he that overcomes to the end shall inherit all things. So that means to endure. Endurance means there's that means you're taking hits, you're taking punishment or whatever it is that you're taking, and you're able to endure through it. You have endurance. It says to endure to the end, because nowhere did he say that all of these things are just going to stop out of nowhere once you receive him. Nowhere does it says that in scripture. Nowhere does it say that, as soon as you come out the water, you know, all your feelings, all your emotions, all your thoughts is going to change overnight. It doesn't work like that. This is the reason why Christ says, to he that endure to the end, the same shall be saved. So that's telling us that, yes, there is power with Christ. We're covered by his blood. But there's still things that we have to do in the physical to be able to receive him at the end. We still going to have to endure this life. And some people might say, man, that's hard, man. Like, how are we supposed to do that? That's not fair. This is the reason why he came. He actually came to show us that, look, I came in the flesh. Yeah, I was in the heavens. Yeah, my spirit was from everlasting. I'm from this. I'm in the spirit. I'm pure. I'm holy. But he had to come in the flesh to subdue sin in the flesh, to show us that it's possible. Right? So we have to understand that it can be done. Because why? He did it. And this is the reason why I went into speaking about how we were able to change the way we thought when it came to certain sins. We told ourselves, I'm not doing it. And what? You ended up not doing it anymore. Right? So it's all about changing your perspective. That's how we're going to overcome youthful lust. And there's another thing along with that, and I'm going to share with you guys a little later as well too. Right? So what should I do first? You know what? This is what I'm going to do first, because I do have a guest. Right? One second. I do have a guest. I don't know if he's waiting I'm gonna wait till he comes on in the green room. Right? So that way I can invite him on, so that way he could explain how he was able to overcome. And I'm pretty sure all of us, we all have examples, right? We all have examples of how all of us were able to overcome certain lustful things that we used to deal with. Right? And I do believe that we need to share these examples. Right? We need to share these examples, so that way we can strengthen each other. Because you know why? Because some people may come into this truth or come into the church and see how well put together everybody is, right? And look at certain people within leadership, within the congregation, and be like, man, these people are perfect, man. But they don't know where the Most High actually took you from. Right? They just see I'm not going to say the finished product, because none of us is really finished yet, right? But they see the process that the Most High is bringing you through, right? A lot of us used to be on drugs. A lot of us used to be whoremongers. A lot of us used to be adulterers. A lot of us used to be drunkards. Used to be party animals. All of these things, but the Most High had cleaned us up. So people who's from the outside looking in may see that and be like, dang, I can never be like this brother right here. Dang, I can never be like this sister right here. But they don't know where the Most High actually took you from, how he cleaned you up. Right? So sometimes it's beneficial for us to share these past experiences, so that way we can strengthen each other. Like, and so somebody could be like, yo, you know what? If this brother could do that, I could do it too. Right? Okay, so my guest is in the green room. And this brother does not need an introduction. Okay, y'all already know him already. He's one of the top 5 dead or alive DJs that's out here right now. Okay, he's not just my DJ, but he's your DJ, right? You got your camera on? I don't see your camera on, brother. What's going on? You scared? Come on. Turn that camera on, bro. I need to see you. Let me see. Right? He needs no introduction. Hold on real quick. It looks like he's going to need an introduction right now. He's taking long. Hold on. Let me see. Turn your camera on, brother. All right. Like I said, now let me go back with my whole song and dance again. This brother needs no introduction, right? He's one of the top 5 dead or alive DJs. Not dead, though, but alive, okay? My brother, your brother, Mr. DJ King Styles, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. DJ King Styles. Unmute your mic. Can you hear me? I don't know if he can hear me. 1 second. I don't think he can hear me. Oh, I'm muted on his end. Okay. I see. That's why. Mute. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? You got to unmute your mic. You're muted. You got to unmute yourself. Hold on real quick. I know what's that. Talk real quick. Talk.
Check.
Okay.
Check.
All right. Now check. I got you.
Okay.
All right. Once again, my brothers and sisters, my DJ, your DJ, Mr. DJ King Styles. I gotta do that again. You know what I'm saying? Please forgive me. I'm a little rusty. Been away for a while, so we coming back. But praise the Most High. I'm happy that you here with me, Ak. Talking about the topic of tonight is overcoming youthful lust, right? So I know you got other things to do. I'm not gonna try to keep you on here too long, but I want you to share an experience that you shared with me. When you first came into the truth, or right before you came into the truth, what you was dealing with and how you were able to overcome it. Because like I just said earlier, it's important for brothers and sisters to hear our testimonies of how the Most High, moved us from one area to the next, or one situation to the next, and we were able to overcome it. Now it's like, yo, I don't even desire to do that anymore. Right?
Nah. Right. So, wait. I'm gonna just say this, man. Yo, I'm happy to have you for you to have me on this platform. I was about to say my platform. I'm used to being on the podcast.
Right.
But I'm happy here. And being a moderator also behind the scenes, man. I'm happy, and all praise to the Most High for making you a deacon. You're a great leader, and you're my big brother, bro, so you already know our relationship. Shout out to everybody that's listening right now. And, my story starts way back from when I was young. So around like 5 years old, 6, 7 years old, around that time, my mom, she's an occupational therapist, so she always believed in having the youth involved in the arts, music, drama, being on stage and all these kind of things. And she always put me and my brother in programs to perform music. I played many instruments, violin, the drum, African drum, piano, all these things throughout my life. And I used to always deal with the spirit of like, you know, fear and being nervous going on stage. But I didn't understand at that time that was natural, you know? It's because you care about how you're gonna do, is why you overthink and, you know, get those nerves, because you really want to do good in front of a crowd. So I didn't understand it. As I was growing up, I used to always try to figure out how to get over those nerves, because the Most High, at that time, I didn't know it was the Most High, but he always had me in front of a crowd. So I was around my family who were Masons, like all my uncles, all my family, literally Masons. And they used to go to something called a lodge. And I used to be around them. And they used to drink all the time. And when I used to see them drink, I see the courage they had when they were talking. They were, you know, they felt good, you know? And I was like, man, I need to, and being around them, matter of fact, they used to actually give us a sip of alcohol.
Yeah,
right?
we all grew up with uncles and older parents who would just say, hey, taste this. You want to taste it?
Yeah, taste that. And it would taste nasty. I was
Right.
like, what's that? I ain't drinking that. I'm good. So on my way transitioning from playing musical instruments and stuff like that in high school, doing stage band, I started transitioning to DJing, getting into that, because I don't know, the most I felt like God was just, the piano and all that was just getting tired to me. I was into making beats, certain things, and I started going to clubs. And at that time, I was still dealing with the fear and the nerves to go in front of people and do what I had to do. So I started drinking, you know, cover that fear. Instead of just dealing with it, face off, and just getting over it, I was just drinking it to subdue it. And it was working at first. Drinking, you know, you got the confidence, you know, the girls around you in the club, you know, you're doing your thing. And in my mind, I didn't know that I was starting to be addicted to it, because at first you're drinking like a cup. After a cup, you're drinking 2 cups. Now you to a whole bottle, right? So I'm sitting down there and I'm just guzzling while my tolerance is getting up. So I'm drinking for a long time. And through the drinking, I'm dealing with relationship issues, like not even relationship with girlfriends and stuff like that, just friendship issues. You know, you overthinking, you saying things when, you know, even the scriptures tell you to hold your peace. You know, somebody say something to you, you act not a character. You're not yourself. Because me, right. You know me, bro, I'm laid back, I'm calm and quiet. But when you drink, that spirit take over you and you start doing things that you usually don't do. So, you know, my mom talked to me a couple of times about it, like, yo, you know, being nurturing, because I grew up always with my mom and my father in the house. So my mom used to always talk to me, and she used to tell me like I was always different when I drank. And I also, at that time, I was having, you know, little issues with my pops, you know, in the house. You get into that age where you a man, and my brother's having, you know, you think you the man, you in the club, you throwing events, you know, you not respecting your parents.
Everything get into your head.
Right, everything get into your head, you know, and I was running a couple of teams. So, you know, I was just getting a little too over cocky, how would you say, right? And through that transition, the Most High started doing something to me where I was throwing events, right? And when I was in the club drunk, I didn't want to be there. So I would leave my whole parties. going home crying, drunk. Like, I don't even know what's going on. I'm getting phone calls in the morning like, yo, bro, where you at? You didn't even count the money after. I'm just, like, I'm going through issues. Like I'm overthinking, like, every action that I do now. Like, I don't want to be around this scene no more. So when I started explaining to my friends, like, yo, I don't want to be around this DJ stuff no more. I don't want to do that. They thought I was crazy. And then also the Most High was making me start thinking about the end of world events. Like, I was thinking about a whole bunch of end of world events, like around 21. I was having dreams before that as a kid, but at 21 now, since I'm, you know, you drunk, you 22, it's coming out, right? So I'll have these deep conversations. And then my friends would just be like, yo, he drunk, bro. Like, yo, Styles is just drunk. He off the Hennessy, whatever the case is. And at that time, I'll just be like, yo, you felt isolated, like everybody that came into this truth. So what the Most High did to me, right? He ended up humbling me. I played a party, Juve party. I will never forget this situation. Juve party. it's like Juve, you know, who don't know, is like the day before Labor Day. And we get to the Parkway. So I used to always throw Juve events. But before this last Juve event, 3 incidents happened. So people on my team, close friends that I DJ'd with and promoted with, they started dying, getting killed in the club.
Wow.
Like basically before coming to this shoe, I basically lost like my whole team, right? So like I'm like probably me and some other is the only one that's really standing out of my old team back in the day. And so at this party, Pacific party, I'm DJing and the police came. So you know the police always come and say, turn down the music too loud, whatever the case is, right? So we did turn on the music, but they came again. So when they came, this time they wanted to take my laptop from me. So, you know, at that time I'm like, that's my bread and butter, right? And at that time I wasn't even working because the Most High was taking jobs from me too. So my only way of income was that. So I was already attached to that, like, yo, they taking like, so, you know, being also a little tipsy and drunk at the time, got a little aggressive, not with the police that for themselves, like getting physical with them, but they took my laptop and I don't know, I felt like they was trying to steal my joint, be honest with you, right? They threw it in the paddy wagon. So they threw it in the paddy wagon. Me not thinking and being sober enough to be like, yo, don't do that. I went to the paddy wagon, being a little bit emotional, and grabbed and tried to pull the door, you feel me? And I'm like, yo, y'all trying to steal my laptop. Big crowd outside, cameras, right? And then, you know, end up putting me on the floor. You know, I went into the bookings, never seen the laptop again. Never seen the laptop again. The next day, I was like, wow, what's going on with my life? You know what I mean? I lost my laptop, my friends are dead, my team, or whatever the case is. Like, I try to put down alcohol before that. This time I'm like 25. I tried to put down alcohol before that, like through workouts and stuff, but it never used to work. You know what I mean? Because I really wasn't determined to put it down. I put it down for like a month. You know what I mean?
What changed for you? Like, when did you realize, like, yo, I gotta change my life? Like, this ain't it.
Right. So through the debts and my laptop getting taken away from me, I decided, I was like, I'm gonna go to the gym. I had no job at the time. I was with my pops and my mom in their house, and I was like always talking to my mom, like things not working out. So I'm about to go back to school. So I decided to go back to school. I was like, I'm gonna go back to college and maybe I'm gonna try to become a doctor. It was something wild. I was like, yo, this is not working. I always been like that. If something's not working for me, I switch. Were you saying, sorry?
No, I'm listening. I was just laughing.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm about to become a doctor or something because this music stuff ain't working. So I ended up going to school, and then I ended up in getting a job at the Board of Ed. Mind you, my first year in school, the Most High opened the door for me to get in the school system. I didn't want to be a teacher or nothing like that. I didn't care for that. I was just like, I need an income, whatever the case is. I get in there, and then sitting there, I was observing the students, and it was special ed. So who don't know what special ed is like you're dealing with kids that have trauma, mental illness, and they deal with, you know, we know they're dealing with spirits, but bipolar, they live in bipolar, ADHD, anxiety disorder, all you can think about. These kids are in small settings working in like a class of 7 because they cannot sit down and they can't have regular conversations. They could literally be talking about Iron Man and disagree about it. Like if Iron Man flew up to the sky in a movie and literally jump across the room and swing a punch. You know, they're off the chain. So I was in the high school, and at that time, I started impacting the school, right? Because I started bringing my music abilities, like the principal and them started noticing how the kids gravitated to me. Of course, me being a male, me being a Black Israelite, whatever the case is, they gravitated to me, and they seen how I was able to like basically get them to listen, right? Listen and motivate them. So I ended up starting long story short, I ended up starting a music program called Club Lit during their night's talent, and I started sharing my talents with them, right? And in doing that, helping them actually started helping me, right?
So I can see what was happening. The Most High put you in a situation where you're dealing with kids, where now you have to straighten up now.
I gotta straighten up. So I'm helping them, and I started getting, as just a paraprofessional, which is like a teacher assistant, I started getting a lot of kids reevaluated. So it was, the district was District 75. That's the special ed unit. And they never seen nothing like that before. in my head, I knew it was God. Mind you, I wasn't in the truth, right? But a lot of kids started getting reevaluated. A lot of kids was leaving, coming back, crying through my program, my music program. We was doing perform. Like a lot of people think I don't choreograph, right? But I choreograph. We did performances in front of stages. This helped. It's funny because they dealt with the same fear that I dealt with, right? Going up in front of a crowd. So I was able actually to counsel them and teach them how to basically get over those fears. And that transition from impacting on the stage into the classroom. Because now their confidence is up. They feel better about themselves. Whatever spirits they were dealing with is fleeing for somehow. So people were just bugging out, right? So now I'm sitting down there. Now I was still drinking though, right? So I come to the class one day, right? I'm sitting down. So one of my head captains named Duquan, never will forget him. He was like one of the terrorists, man, but he changed his life. But he was my captain. So he was the captain for a reason, right? He sat down and he looked at me and he said, yo, Mr. J, you was out last night? Yo, I was like, yo, what? I was like, yo, he's smelling the alcohol that's coming through my pores, right? So it started from there. And seeing the impact that I was doing to the students, it started conflicting my spirit. Like, how can I basically be preaching certain things to these kids and I'm out in the club drinking and doing certain things? I'm looking like a contradiction. Like, that doesn't make no sense.
Hypocrite, right.
So what I did first, I had a teacher named Miss Brownfield who was, she was like a mentor for me. She was Benji, right? Jamaican. And she used to watch and observe me and tell me everything that I was doing and, you know, how I was impacting the kids, because sometimes you're doing things and you don't know what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? And I was telling her that I need to stop drinking alcohol, but I don't know how to. So what I did, I went home that week or whatever the case is, and I was just in my bed. One day I just woke up, can't remember exactly what day it was, so let's say in the week. And I woke up and I was just crying and I was like, you know what? I'm about to tell my parents I'm an alcoholic, right? And yo, I'm gonna be honest with you, that is the hardest thing to do. Like, we always think, like, even if you drink 1 cup, 2 cups, now I'm not an alcoholic or nothing like that. Like, no, more, it tells you, like, more than 2 cups, bro, and you drink like that, you're alcoholic. But we never wanna accept the fact that we are. And that's where the change starts, from you admitting that, right?
So what came first was the confession.
The confession came first, yeah. That's how I stopped. I could never stop before ever in my life. But once I confessed, first I did some research. So I was like, all right, so if I stop drinking alcohol, my body is so used to the sugar that I'm gonna go into like a withdrawal, right? And I might end up killing myself. Because if you've been drinking for so long, you know, you could really go into a bad withdrawal if you don't do it right? I knew I didn't need no program, right? Because I knew that how I started drinking. So I was like, okay, so I was doing all this research, right? And I was like, you know what? I need to confess to my parents that I'm an alcoholic, right? So I wrote in the chat, we had a family chat. I wrote in the chat like, yo, mind you, I'm mad. I feel lower than ever. Like, I feel down, sad. I'm like, yo, mom, dad, brother, I'm an alcoholic. So yeah, I straight said that joint. I was 26, 27 around that time. And I said, yo, I'm an alcoholic. And it was like, oh, Jamel, because, you know, that's my real name, right? It's like, Jamel, you know, don't worry about it. Just drink, you know, 1 cup and drink. I was like, nah, I'm going cold turkey. I'm quitting. I'm quitting. And what also conflicted me, and I jumped a little bit, that same week, I used to do radio with my cousin, and we had a big artist come up there named Protege. He's a big reggae artist, right? He came up there, and I was up there drunk, right? And I was up there tipsy or whatever the case is, you know, words, you know, like not saying your words right. You know how that go, bro. And my cousin told me straight up, like, yo, bro, Styles, if you don't stop, like, drinking, whatever the case, he didn't say when you stop drinking, but he's trying to take this music thing serious. And if I'm drinking and I'm not taking it serious because he's a big artist, we on camera, and I'm folding right now, you know what I mean? So that also was another confliction in my spirit.
So things was pricking your spirit to expose, like, okay, I have a problem.
Crazy, bro. I was like, you feel like you're sick, basically. I'm like, yo. And then, you know, also, let's be honest. You're in the house, you're drinking Friday, Thursday, making excuses. The bottles is piling up. So you watching the bottles pile up too. You know, you watching them. Because you're not just a drinker that go out and drink. You're in the house and you're drinking, right? You're not a social drinker. You're in the house drinking, and the bottles pile up. You 4 bottles, 5 bottles. You looking at it, you're like, damn, son, I gotta stop. You know? So basically, now I'm going cold turkey. I'm like, okay, if I go cold turkey in a week, I have to destroy the habit. First, I gotta destroy the habit. Then once I beat the habit, because the habit is basically every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I gotta go to the liquor store and buy a bottle. Now, this is where this joints get crazy now. So then after I beat the habit, then I could deal with the addiction, right? So I was like, all right. So I beat the habit the first week. Now my body feels crazy, right? I feel different. Like it feels all right at first. So the first 2 weeks, I'm like, damn, I went 2 weeks. This feels good. I'm sober, like, right? Then it starts coming in. Now I know in Enoch, it tells you, right? The hunger, when the demons, they hunger, bro. So now I stop, and this is where the challenge comes now. Now my body is craving sugar like crazy, bro. I'm like horribly craving. It doesn't matter. So I started eating ice cream. So you know the big bag of ice cream, right? I was eating a whole box of that joint in one sitting.
Nah, that is crazy, bro.
The big Brian's ice cream, doing it 2-3 times, bro. And I was like, damn. And of course, what happens? You start gaining weight. Right. So I was like, yo. Now what happens is that, so you were, obviously we know spiritually the demon doesn't want to let go, right? But I'm not in the truth, right? So I don't know about praying and fasting, none of that stuff. I'm fulfilling the demon's appetite right now by eating, and what's happening? I'm gaining weight, right? My stomach getting big. I'm like, oh, what's going on? Like I'm eating these jars of ice cream. So fast forward, I'm like, I gotta get off of the ice cream. So, you know, I basically dubbed one addiction, right, which was the alcohol, but then I jumped on another addiction.
Another one, right.
What I was supposed to do at that time is switch it with fruits, because fruits have natural sugars in it that would have basically helped me. But I researched it, but that didn't work. It sounded good on paper, like switch to the fruits and that didn't work. Straight to the ice cream, eating it. Now I'm not thinking about the alcohol no more. I'm done with that. But now I gotta get off the ice cream. Right. The demon obviously is still on me.
It went from one addiction, one lustful addiction, to a next one.
Yeah, I'm craving ice cream, like just eating that joint, bro. Sugars, like all I want. Now I'm gonna tell you something funny. Through the month of me basically stop drinking, Satan comes to me to tempt me, right? So this is how I know. That's how I didn't know. It was through my cousin. So my cousin, he came up to me, one of my cousins, he came up to me and he said, yo, I heard you stop drinking, bro. I was like, yeah, I did. You know, he said, how long you sober? I was like, 2 weeks. Mind you, this same cousin, right, at a party I DJ for three months before that, he basically, before I stopped drinking, he got into a car accident with the police being drunk. So he ended up in a program, and let me show you how the Most High worked too. He ended up in a program to basically get his license back. Right. And in that program, he told me what they put him on was cranberry juice to get him off the alcohol. Right?
Wow. So he gave you the remedy for him being in. Oh, wow.
He gave me the remedy for this joint. Right. So I'm like, yo, bro, so you telling me after you finish alcohol and you come back out of this program, you should just be done with alcohol. He's like, nah, bro, I'm going right back to it. I was like, yo, if it was me, I would never go back. He's like, you, bro? Yeah, right. So anyways, fast forward back to now, we in the living room. He comes to me. He says, yo, I heard you stopped drinking. So I'm like, yeah, I stopped drinking. You know, it's been 2 weeks. You know, I'm trying. He was like, all right, cool. This dude walks away, bro, and leaves a Hennessy bottle on the table and walks outside like he going to the store.
Talk about temptation, there, right? Man. He really tried to tempt you with the bottle of Henny. He just placed it, and he put it on the table and just walks away.
Puts it on the table, bro, and walks away.
Yeah,
bro.
A spirit definitely jumped into him.
Like this, and I'm watching this Hennessy, bro. And listen, my pops, he was a nurse, so he always told me alcohol is as equivalent to heroin. The effects it does to the body, because he sees people come in with alcohol, poison and stuff like that, and they have the same effects as heroin. So basically, I'm an addict just getting off the Hennessy, the alcohol, whatever, and you put that there. That's temptation fully, bro.
Right, of course.
I'm 2 weeks sober, 2 weeks. That's too close. I could have just picked it up, drank it, back to the game. But something was in me that was too strong because I was doing it for the kids. You feel
wait, don't speed past that. So you said you was doing it for the kids. So that means mentally you already processed what you had to do. Right?
Mentally with the kids, yeah.
Keep that in mind, brothers and sisters. And this is what I was saying from the beginning. We all have to make the conscious choice to change. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish this out so we could continue.
So I was doing it for the kids. So that willpower in my mind, doing it for the youth. And you know, the most I love when you love kids, right? He would say, protect the fatherless. You know how it go. You know that scripture. So I guess he was helping. He was definitely helping me. Because the willpower I had, I was like, nah, I ain't going back to that. Over for that. And I just focused on my music. So now, going further in, so now to get off the ice cream, how do I get off the ice cream? The same cousin that basically tried to tell me had gave me the remedy before, cranberry juice.
Right. So you started, you use that. And that helped you.
And use the cranberry juice and was able to beat alcohol. I got addicted to the cranberry juice, which is more of a healthy, transition, right? Healthy, whatever. And the cranberry juice helped me. And I got off the cranberry juice eventually through fruits, but the cranberry juice was what helped me get off the alcohol, And then the funny thing about the whole thing, the Most High, 2 years after that is when I woke up.
Right. So the Most High had to clean you up first. Right? But you had to clean up your mind to get you to understand, man. Praise the Lord. I gotta clap that up for the Most High, man. Come on, man. Most High, he's the greatest teacher, the greatest father, right? Because even similar to me, like shortly before I came into the truth, it's like my whole appetite and my whole diet changed. Like I stopped eating a lot of processed foods, like fast food, the McDonald's, the Burger Kings, the KFC, all of that processed stuff. Like I just stayed away from it. Like I started getting more health conscious, right? Chinese food, I stood away from that, like eating, all of the abominable stuff. Stop eating abominations, and I believe, and I truly believe that for you to start thinking clearly. And I'm gonna play a video that's gonna explain that as well too, brothers and sisters. So it's very important. Our diet, your diet has a lot to do with how well the Most High can communicate with you as well too. If your body is filled with toxins and all this processed stuff, your mind is always going to be clouded. You're not going to be able to think properly. And the way the Most High communicate us is where? In the mind, brothers and sisters. So it's a whole science behind. Like I'm going to call it science because it's been scientifically proven, right? But there's a whole science behind it, the way how the Most High designed our bodies, right? But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, bro. So through that, I'm gonna run into that testimony real quick. But COVID happened, of course, right? So, we locked down. Now I'm sober. So I'm drinking cranberry juice, eating fruits, and then of course, through conspiracy theories and all that since I was a kid and dreams. Like my mom always knows, it's funny because my mom knows my whole testimony as me being young, as God, as she would say, as a higher, sure, higher, was always in my life. Set, like everything was planned out. Everything was planned out. And I knew that too. And through the pandemic, being able to reflect and stuff like that is how I woke up. Right? Just, trying to actually wake my mother up, getting into the Bible to try to tell her what was going on.
Right.
And, one day, waking up in the night, same thing happened. Spirit conflicted. Like, when your spirit is conflicted, it feels like a nail, like it feel crazy, bro.
Right.
It feel crazy. Spirit conflicted. Asked, my friend June, who's not here no more, whatever, but he basically gave me the name, and I confessed to the most I did in the club and the drinking and all that, and Elder Rawchaa video dropped in my face. One of the most craziest miracles I've ever seen in my life. Just in my mind, just typed it in, and Elder Rawchaa is right there. You hear Jacob's crying. I'll never forget that, and I came into the truth. And I will want to say this, when I came into the truth, and praise the Most High for Deacon Hazak and Officer Zach and my brother Samuel, because when I came in the truth, I wasn't DJing. I came in, I quit for like a whole year and a half.
I remember.
It was deep that talked me into coming back and doing this joint. Like seriously, I was just focused on the Most High. I wasn't thinking I was gonna ever DJ again. I know people see me doing it. I never thought that. And through the motivation through my brothers, through the Spirit, and these ops is Levites. So
That's crazy.
They
All
put
three
me
of us,
down.
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. It's too much trauma with it. It's too much trauma with the DJing thing. Like, you know what I mean? I lost friends, alcohol, all that, but the Most High showed me, and through prayer also, he showed me how to use my talents in the truth. But I had to put it down.
But exactly. But you see how the Most High works. He'll take something from you for a time to get you right and then give it back to you tenfold, 100-fold, 60-fold. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people are not willing to make the sacrifice for him to actually turn around and actually bless you, right? A lot of people think it's too hard, but once you got it in your mind, once you was able to process that in your mind, that's when things started to change for you, man. But praise the Most High for that, man. And I'm so happy that you came on, man. I know I hit you last minute, like, yo, you want to come on the show? You want to talk about this real quick?
me and you got a special relationship, bro. It's like we knew each other for a long time. So when he hits me up, I'll be like, nah, bro, you think I'm gonna? Nah, he's like, you scared? You scared?
Yo, something I gotta do that. I gotta provoke y'all. Like, yo, it's like the scripture says, man. I gotta provoke you to do better, to do more works. We gotta provoke each other to do good works. So, yo, praise the Most High. I appreciate the testimony, man. I know, you just got in from work, and man, definitely gonna have you on again. And listen, we gonna talk, man. I'm gonna see you at the feast, Shabbat, Most High willing. And please don't forget.
Say one more thing.
Yeah, say one more thing. But wait, let me say this. Don't.
Now.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You gonna say yeah.
Don't forget my cup either.
I got you. I gotta go this way.
All right, go ahead.
I know, like, a lot of people in the low been asking me to help, like, their kids in the truth, and I'm starting to build up in that because I do it outside with a lot of kids that's trauma. So I'm a behavioral specialist, which is like a counselor. So if you have any issues with your kids in the truth, man, open ears to give advice, man, because that's what I do right now. All right.
Yeah. He deal with children, brothers and sisters, in the school system, and it's funny because you used to be with the Board of Ed, and now the Most High exalted you to another position.
I got
charter school.
So higher position.
Yeah. See, listen, man. Look, the Most High, he never fails, man. He said, "You come unto me, and I'm gonna come to you." Right. So praise.
The position I have right now, I'm supposed to have a bachelor's degree. I don't have that.
Y'all hear that, brothers and sisters? On the books, he not even qualified, but the Most High qualified him. Look at that, the Most High is just the best, man. But praise the Most High, bro. You already know, man. I love you, man. And I appreciate you taking the time out and coming on and sharing this with the brothers and sisters, man. I really appreciate it.
Shalom, family.
All right, bro. Yes, sir.
Right, bro.
Once again, DJ King Styles, brothers and sisters. DJ King Styles. All right, praise him. Praise the Most High, man. Praise the Most High. Yeah, brothers and sisters. So I really wanted to share. I really wanted him to come on to share that, just to show, right, that we actually have the power to change these lustful thoughts, these lustful actions, because why? It's all habit. Because he said something, he said something that was very key in the beginning, that the first thing that he did first, before he could overcome whatever it was he was, or the alcohol, that form of lust that he was dealing with, was confession. Right? Was confession. He was able to confess openly. And that's what the scriptures actually tells us, that in the book of James. It says, confess your faults one to another and be healed. And that's the first step of redemption, of the healing process, so the Most High could actually step in. Because a lot of people be thinking like the Most High could just step in out of nowhere. Nah, you have to ask. You have to say it. So he could be like, you know what? Now I can intervene, because before you were speaking, the devil and these demons, they had control over you. But now that you confessed it openly, now I got to tell them to fall back, because now you have accepted me. Now you acknowledge your faults. Now I can help. And that's how the Most High works. We can't just expect him to just come out of nowhere and just save the day. Like, he'll put things in our way to help us see him, but until we confess with our mouths, there's nothing that he could do for us, right? So the first thing that we see that he was able to do was to confess his faults. And then second thing that he said that he had to do was what? Break the habit. He had to break the habit, right? Because we're all creatures of habit, right? A lot of us a lot of us till this day have the same routines. We wake up, do the same things over and over, right? And we know it to the point where if something stands in the way of our routine, we're like, all right, now sign us off. Or your day is not the same anymore because your routine changed. So he had to actually break the habit, right? And mentally, he had to be like, you know what? I ain't doing this no more. I am not doing this anymore, right? So, brothers and sisters, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty. We're getting down to understanding how we will be able to kick certain habits, certain addictions, certain problems, certain lustful things. We have to understand how to what's called, and this is what I'm gonna bring it out now. We have to learn how to reason. Right? We have to learn how to reason within ourselves. And that's all the Most High wants us to do, is to understand for every action, there's a reaction. So now the question is, am I willing to do this action to face the reaction? Sometimes we could nip anything in the butt if we just think about the aftermath of what's gonna take place of if I choose to do this or if I continue to go down this path. What's gonna happen to me? And sometimes we usually turn it off. Because why? We want to fulfill that 15 minutes of or 15 seconds of satisfaction that the flesh actually wants. Right? Let me read this real quick. I gotta read this with y'all. And I'm gonna play some videos because listen, I got some videos and we're gonna talk about it. Right? Once again, if you guys could do me a favor, please continue to hit that like button and share this conversation with your family and friends, right? So I'm in the book of 2 Timothy. Let me go here real quick. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 19. And it tells us here, it says, is it 2 Timothy? Yeah, 2 Timothy 2, verse 19. I'm going to start here. Yeah, I'm going to start at verse 19. It says this. Matter of fact, I'm going to start down. I'm going to start right here. Verse 21. If a man, it says, 2 Timothy 2, verse 21, it says, if a man therefore purge himself from these, right, he shall be a vessel unto honor, right? Because we all want to be vessels of honor. We all want to be used by the Most High. And for a lot of us, we had to clean up ourselves, our minds, our temple in order for the Most High to reveal himself to us. Right? A lot of y'all could attest to that. Right? And I'm talking to those who have truly made the choice. Right? And those of you who've truly made the choice, you guys can attest and you guys could really speak on how the Most High has changed your life around. That's why the scriptures is not for play. It's a real book and it's alive. It says, if a man therefore purge himself from these, he shall be a vessel unto honor, sanctified, meaning set apart, because the Most High is not using anything that's of the world. You have to be sanctified. You have to be set apart, right? Sanctified and meet for the master's use and prepared unto every good work. Listen to verse 22. Flee also youthful lusts. So along with the changing of your mind and your diet and not chasing the world, you have to also have to flee from youthful lusts. Because why? The youthful lust will bring back all the old habits and destroy I would say defile or make unclean what the Most High is trying to cleanse. Because ultimately the Most High wants to use you. He want to be able to use you as a vessel of honor. But if you're tainted with lust and all you're doing is putting bad habits into your mind, into your body, how can he use that? Right? So he says, flee also youthful lust, but follow righteousness, faith, charity, peace with them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. See that? With them that call on the Lord out of a pure heart. So your heart have to be pure. Your heart cannot be pure if it's tainted with the ideologies of this world. Chasing the world, chasing the things of this world is never going to work. It's deceitful. It's not even real. Look at this. Listen, we're going to do some reading tonight too. And I'm also at, towards the end of this, I'm going to open to the calls. And I want to hear from you, brothers and sisters, on some examples, real quick of how you were able to kick certain habits. Right? And we're going to do some comparisons. We're going to see what it took. And I'm telling you, it's all up here. It's all the changing of the mind. Right? Look at this. I'm in the book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 19. And it says, I'm going to start at verse 18. I'm going to jump up. Mark 4 and 18. And it reads, and these are they which are sown among the thorns, such as hear the word, and the cares of this world, and the deceitfulness of riches. You see, the deceitfulness of riches. And it's funny that Christ used the word deceitful, the deceitfulness of riches, because why? The money is not even real. A lot of people break their back trying to be rich when the money is not even this is not even real. Money is supposed to be used as a vehicle, not as a trophy. But it says, and the deceitfulness of riches, and the lust of the lust of other things. See that? This is how people become unfruitful in the truth, or when they hear the word and they can't really stick to the word because they're being deceived by riches, and the lust of other things entering in. You see that? It says chokes the word, and it becometh unfruitful. This is why we just read earlier, we got to flee from youthful lust. Because when it enters in, you're not going to be able to receive the word. Because why? I need to chase money. I'm chasing girls. I'm chasing this guy. I need more money, drugs. You have to flee from that. You have to renew your mind and change your understanding. And this brings me into what we're going to be talking about next, talking about reason. What is reason? How do we use it? Right? How do we use reason? Right? And I'm gonna take a quick break real quick. Not too long, but I'm gonna take a quick break, brothers and sisters, so that way we could dive in, and we're gonna talk about reason. How do we use it, and how does it apply, and what is it, and why is it so powerful? Why is that such a powerful tool when it comes to how we fight off the works of the flesh? Right? 1 second. We're definitely going to take a break, but we're going to come right back. Okay? We're going to come right back with this topic. So, and to top it off, playing a song from my brother's new album, Hebrew Fresh, right? Officer Zachariah, Last Days Fortitude.
Oh, praises.
But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved.
It says, for those that endure, that means fight and make it to the very end, the same shall be saved. Proving that no one is saved until the end.
The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Oh, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Yeah, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is Fortitude of mind in these last days. Watch and pray. Fortitude of mind in these last days. Nothing stopping prophecy. No crypto, economy, missiles, no lottery, no crystals, philosophy. A higher be the truest, and every man a liar. Youthful eyes with elderly vision, thanks to Yeshaya. Young man with an old soul, plan to turn gold with a gold crown in the town called New Jeru. Most high willing, consider your soul, consider your role. Consider the goal. Roads paved in the kingdom while you paying your toll. Up in this lifetime, keep hope, rejoice through affliction like it's white wine, pure and immaculate. Fortitude the type time, mind on some Christ mind, spirit on Rawchaa. Been through it all, I embraced it in acceptance of the Most Highs, willing to fall back up like a just man, envisioning pause, visitation to the heavens. My sin was on some velvet, from that to now we leprous, baptized, yeah, by the water and the spirit. Spirit be his word, so no doubtful disputations, edification with that patience, apt to teach, mercy on my vows, how I'm apt to preach. Maccabee, blood of Christ in me, why they had to leech, death before dishonor, all praises, now we back to being the 12 tribes, wise, all eyes on us like Kai. Hebrews to Negroes, all on that prime. Last days, what a time being alive. To all of you, fortitude, prayer supplied. Also keep them in prayer, cause I'm only a guy with imperfections and need of mercy, needed my God. A higher shore, a higher, never sparing that ride. Better count it all joy, cause them tears they gon' fly. Yeshaya Mashiach, he the king and he mine. I say Yeshaya Mashiach, he the king and he mine. Savior.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east,
Go ahead.
and shineth even to the west, so shall the coming of the Son of Man be.
When Christ comes, you're not going to need an announcement. All right? As the light shineth from the east and goes toward the west, Christ's going to break that atmosphere in the east and build that holy mountain and work its way all the way
The kingdom
toward
of
the west.
heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Oh, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Yeah. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Watch and pray, fortitude of mind in these last
This
days.
is
Watch
the
and pray,
Born of
fortitude
Levi
mind.
experience on G.O.C.C. Media.
Action grip, waking up souls that was long gone. Lazarus, this can't be life. Peep the asterisk. You playing with your life, rolling at your risk. It might sound good when you stacking chips. I tell you what, best believe your actions better match your lips. Murder, game, death traps, might as well respect that. Heard a subtle voice giving warning that your shy is calling, but they said wrong number. You tried to ignore them. Said that Christ's lifestyle is lame and is boring. Blessings to the one that obeyed the orders. Sought repentance, rolled their pants up and braved the waters. Won't suffer contrary to how they was brought
Yes,
up.
yes.
To fear higher, all I know, no strange disorders. To fear higher,
Yes.
all I know, no shame can cause us to go against.
Yes, and that was Last Day's Fortitude. That was the intro by my brother, Officer Zachariah Hebrew Fresh, and featuring Officer Malachi. Shouts out, all praises be to the Most High. Beautiful song, beautiful album. Album is streaming right now, I believe on all major platforms, but you can find it on SoundCloud, right? So we back, right? Talking about overcoming youthful lust. We had a great example by DJ King Styles' brother Jamel, who explained how he was able to kick a habit. And we're getting somewhere. We're understanding that the mind is a very powerful tool. The mind is a very powerful tool. And the Most High designed our mind in such a way where the only thing that could actually change it is through a chemical imbalance, right? And this is the reason, and brothers and sisters, y'all got to understand, this is the reason why they pump our neighborhoods. They pump not just our neighborhoods, they're pumping the world, right? They're pumping the world with so much artificial food, right? A lot of processed food, these food colorings, these dyes to cloud our minds so that way the Most High cannot communicate with us. And not only that, not only do they taint the food, what they're also showing us on TV, the music that they put out, the frequencies, all of these things play a role in how it disrupts our brains and our spirit to communicate with the Most High. Now, you can't use reason because why? Your judgment is clouded. And now because your judgment is clouded and your vessel is unclean or it's defiled, now the Most High definitely can't use you as a vessel of honor. So all of these play a role, brothers and sisters, for us to get back right on track. But like I was saying, we're going to talk about reason, right? And one thing when it comes to the reason, right, is dealing with this book, the book 4th Maccabees, right? And if you have the Studiopigrapha, it's actually in the Studiopigrapha. Yes, Maccabees, the 4th book of Maccabees. But I was going to read it. I was going to bring the big Studiographer here and read it, but I'd rather play the audio. And yes, there's an audio version of it being read by Christopher Glenn, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the first chapter. I actually wanted to go through the first and second chapter because it's all beautiful. And I want you guys to listen to how when it's speaking about reason, right? How when we use reason is chief over every other emotion. It puts everything in check. Right? Look, I'm going to share my screen with you guys. And we're going to go through this together. It's not too long, right? But I want you guys to actually read it on your own. It's very good, and it's good for understanding, right?
Such as
let me start from the top.
The 4th book of Maccabees, read by Christopher Glenn. As I'm going to demonstrate a most philosophical proposition, namely that religious reasoning is absolute master of the emotions, I would willingly advise you to give the utmost heed to philosophy. For reason is necessary to everyone as a step to science. In addition, it embraces the praise of self-control, the highest virtue.
You see, it says, in addition, it embraces the praise of self-control, which is the highest virtue. So one of the highest virtue, or one of the highest forms of power an individual could exercise, is self-control, which is actually temperance. Keep that in mind. So reason it helps with self-control. Right? Now we can see how when we see someone who's out of control, you know what's wrong with them? They lack judgment. Up here, it's not working really good. And it's clouded, right? Let's go.
If then reasoning appears to hold the mastery over the emotions which stand in the way of temperance, such as gluttony and lust, it surely also and manifestly rules over the affections which are contrary to justice, such as malice, and of those which are hindrances to courage, such as wrath, pain, and fear. Perhaps some may ask, how is it then that reasoning, if it rules the emotions, isn't also master of forgetfulness and ignorance? They attempt a ridiculous argument. For reasoning does not rule over its own emotions, but over those that are contrary to justice, courage, temperance, and self-control.
So you see, reasoning, it only helps to decipher or to distinguish between justice and injustice, right? Courage, temperance, and self-control, right?
And yet over these, so as to withstand without destroying them.
We used 5
sorry about that, these ads, but let's let it play out so we can continue. Sorry.
Might prove to you from many other considerations that religious reasoning is sole master of the emotions.
So you see that? It says religious reasoning, because anybody could reason You could reason on the left hand side under Satan, or under the rules of this world, or what the world has made to be normal. And he'd say, according to this world, a man can marry a man. That's reasoning on the left hand side. But in the scriptures and in the 4th Maccabees, it tells us that reasoning is chief over the emotions, but religious reasoning. And that reasoning, that when it says religious reasoning, that's talking about the reasoning from a scriptural standpoint, using the Most High's law as the governor. So if we're going to reason based upon the Most High standards, not the world. Get it?
And I will prove it with the greatest force from the fortitude of Eleazar and 7 kindred and their mother, who suffered death in defense of virtue. For all these, treating pains with contempt, even to death, by this contempt demonstrated that reasoning has command over the emotions.
Y'all see that? And when you go back and read this, what he's talking about, the old man, which is Eleazar, right, who was a priest amongst the people during, under the Greek captivity, right? They was trying to get him to eat pork or eat, strange meat. But he was like, nah, I'm not going to lead my people into a pit. And it was like, yo, just, we're going to give you clean food, but, just make pretend that it's not really clean. And he was like, nah, I'm not doing it. And he was able to overcome the fear of dying to stand for something that was right. And he used reasoning. And just like where it says the 7 brothers who was mutilated and killed in front of their mother because they didn't want to eat pork. They use reasoning to help them overcome the emotions of dying and pain. So that's why he said here that, what is it? Where am I? It says, for all these treating pains with contempt, even to death, by this contempt demonstrated that reasoning has command over emotions. So there's no such thing as someone being overly emotional. The person chooses to be overly emotional because they choose not to reason. They're not taking a step back and saying, you know what? Let me think about everything. You're not using your emotions to get what you want. You're sitting back and you're reasoning. It's like, okay, if I do this, this is what's going to happen. If I don't do this, this is what's going to happen. Taking yourself out the picture, not caring about how you feel in that situation, but what is the right course of action. That's how you reason aright. And if you use reasoning, emotions are not involved. Men and women. And and it's sad to say a lot of women they do that. They just say, I'm a woman, I'm emotional. Yeah, you were created to be emotional, but that doesn't mean you don't have the power to reason. You should be able to still reason. And after reasoning, it's supposed to, your reasoning for what is right is supposed to trump however you feel. That's how we're supposed to use it. All right, let's continue.
For their virtues, then, it is right that I should commend those men who died with their mother at this time on behalf of nobility and goodness, and for their honors I may count them blessed. For they, winning admiration not only from men in general, but even from the persecutors for their courage and endurance, became the means of the destruction of the tyranny against their nation, having conquered the tyrant by their endurance, so that by them their country was purified. But we may now at once enter upon the question,
you see what he said? He said, by them their country was purified. Can you imagine if they fell to the pressure of doing something against the law? What that would have done to the future generations? But because of their actions, because they stood so firmly in what they believe was right, it encouraged everybody else around them to do the right thing, even unto death. That's reasoning aright. Because I'm not gonna soil or transgress the laws of God, right? to appease these nations or to appease this person. You understand what I'm saying? We have to understand that what the Most High is asking us is greater than how you may feel. Right? The end result is better than what you feeling at the moment.
Commenced, as is our custom, with laying down the doctrine, and so proceed to the account of these people, giving glory to the all-wise God. Therefore the question, whether reasoning is absolute master of the emotions. Let's determine then what reasoning is, and what emotion is, and how many forms of emotion there are, and whether reasoning rules over all of these.
So now we're going to go through, right? We're going to go through what reasoning is more chief over, right? And what are these different emotions that may come to challenge reasoning, right? Because that's all it is. We all have these different emotions that comes and challenge challenge our thought of what we know we should do. But these emotions is more so on our flesh, and our flesh is warring against our spirit. They're saying the same thing that Paul was saying when you read Romans 7. Same thing. The flesh is always gonna war with the spirit. Your spirit is reasoning you are right. Like, yo, you should do this. Nah, we should not go ahead, do this. Don't do that. And your flesh is like, nah, come on, we need this. You gotta do this. I need you to do this. Right? So the emotion, so we gotta understand that your flesh is more so your emotions. Right? It's gonna lead you to do something outside of reasoning.
Reasoning is intellect, accompanied by a life of righteousness.
You see, reasoning is intellect. Where's your intellect? Up here, in your mind. So that means you have a clear mind. You're sober-minded. You are allowing the Holy Spirit to speak to you and to direct you aright. It says reasoning is intellect, accompanied by a life of righteousness. So you can't have reasoning without righteousness. It's never gonna work. You could reason, like I said earlier, you could reason according to the world. You could reason according to how the world wants you to be. But if you're not reasoning according to God's standard, you're never gonna do it the right way.
Putting foremost the consideration of wisdom. Wisdom is a knowledge of divine and human things and of their causes. This is contained in the education of the law, by means of which we learn divine things reverently and human things profitably.
So the law actually teaches us how to be wise. It distinguishes between the divine and the divine or divinity and the nature of man. And with those two, we're able to reason properly.
The forms of wisdom are self-control, justice, courage, and temperance.
You see that? This is the form of wisdom. So someone who's wise operates in self-control. Y'all see that? Someone who's wise knows about justice. I'm not going to do this to this person, or I'm not going to say this about this person. I'm not going to step outside of the box when it comes with this person. I'm going to do things with justice. Another form of wisdom is courage. Courage to stand for righteousness. Right? When everybody around you is being wicked, you're going to have the courage to be like, you know what? I'm not following the crowd. I'm using wisdom and I'm following the Most High. Who cares what they're doing? And another form of wisdom is also using temperance. You're not overly angry, right? You're not over the top. You're not real low when it comes to certain things. You're right in the middle. You know when to use certain aspects or certain emotions and when not to use them. You don't just act because somebody said something and you just, what? Who said that? Huh? Where they at? Point them out. Temperance. And then can you imagine if a lot of us use temperance in the hood? There'll be less violence, less crime, because you're not over the top. You're temperate. You have temperance, right? That's also self-control.
The leading one of these is self-control.
You see that?
By whose means, indeed, it is that reasoning rules over the emotions. Of the emotions, pleasure and pain are the two most comprehensive, and they also, by nature, refer to the soul. There are many attendant affections surrounding pleasure and pain. Before pleasure is lust, and after pleasure, joy.
So you see that? So it says, so it's both pleasure and pain, right? Before pleasure, before you could enjoy the pleasure, the lust have to be formed first. Then after the lust is there, and then you get the pleasure. Now it comes joy, right? And then now he's gonna break down before pain.
Before pain is fear, and after pain is sorrow.
You see? So pain, before there's pain, you gotta be afraid of something. Oh, I fear this. Then when after that, then the pain come, then now it's sorrow. So there's stages of how we operate.
Wrath is an affection common to pleasure and to pain, if anyone will pay attention when it comes upon him. There exists in pleasure a malicious disposition.
So he said, so it says even with wrath, it could be either pleasureful or it could also be painful. When someone operates in wrath, it's to fulfill their pleasure on someone, to fulfill what they had in mind to do to somebody, right? Or if it's coming upon you, dang, it's bringing pain.
Which is the most complex of all the affections. In the soul, it is arrogance, love of money, thirst for honor, contention, faithlessness, and the evil eye.
Are you interested in starting your own faceless?
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. Let me get these ads out the way. I'm sorry, brothers and sisters.
The body, it is greediness, indiscriminate eating, and solitary gluttony.
So you see, in the body, when it comes to lust, it is greediness, indiscriminate eating. That's also a form of lust, where someone lacks self-control, and solitary gluttony. So we got to talk about those aspects of lust too, right? And as we seen from the example from DJ King Styles, right? He went from one addiction to the next, right? Because at that point in time, he wasn't able to reason righteously.
As pleasure and pain are therefore two growths out of the body and the soul, so there are many offshoots of these emotions. Reasoning, the universal farmer, purging and pruning each of these, tying up, watering, and transplanting, in every way improves the materials of the morals and affections. For reasoning is the leader of the virtues, but it is the sole ruler of the emotion.
So you see that? So reasoning is the leader of the virtues. So someone who could reason and can demonstrate self-control, that's power. That's the strongest person in the room. Right? And it says, but it's also the ruler of your emotions over your flesh. So when you can reason, your reasoning will help you overcome youthful lust. And like I said in the very beginning of the broadcast, when a lot of us got the law and understood that, okay, these holidays is pagan, right? Oh, I can't be eating unclean food. We reason within ourselves and say, you know what? I'm going to make the conscious decision and stop. So when it comes to your emotions and dealing with the flesh, reasoning should always be present. And if reasoning is not there, you're going to fall.
Observe then first through the very things which stand in the way of temperance, that reasoning is absolute ruler of the emotions. Now, temperance consists of a command over the lusts, but of the lusts, some belong to the soul and others to the body. Reasoning appears to rule over both. Otherwise, how is it that when urged on to forbidden meats, we reject the gratification which would come from them?
You see?
Isn't it because reasoning is able to command the appetites? I believe so.
You see? You see exactly what I said earlier. Reasoning is able to overcome or to command your appetite. So that's how powerful reasoning is. Reasoning can change habit.
Hence it is then that when craving seafood, birds, four-footed animals, and all kinds of food which are forbidden to us by the law, we withhold ourselves through the mastery of reasoning.
Through the mastery of reasoning. We withhold ourselves from partaking in these things through the mastery of reasoning.
For the affections of our appetites are resisted by the temperate understanding and bent back again, and all the impulses of the body are reined in by reasoning.
You see that? All the emotions is reined in by reasoning. So we're only going to read chapter 1. All right? I want to thank my reader for reading for me today. Christopher Glenn, thank you for being my reader. But as we can see, brothers and sisters, that reasoning is the chief over your emotions, right? Mastering reasoning, understanding how to have what's called self-control is what helps you overcome operating in your flesh, operating in the spirit of lust. No matter what that lust is. Your level of mastery when it comes to reasoning have to be so high where it doesn't matter what temptation comes your way. You'll see the temptation and realize, like, okay, there's a temptation, of course, it's going to pass. But while that temptation is there, you're using reasoning. Okay, if I go ahead and do this thing, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to them? What's going to be the outcome? You know what? Take a step back. I'm going to withhold myself. I'm going to operate. I'm going to use self-control. That's what it is, brothers and sisters. So we're cracking the code. Right? We're cracking the code. And look, I want to play this video. I want you guys to see this because what we're noticing here is we're noticing a pattern of where it all starts in the mind. Starts here. It starts up here. And once we allow the Most High to enter into our mind, reasoning becomes even greater. It becomes more enhanced. Now we're operating with wisdom, because wisdom now is showing me first how to have self-control, how to have courage, right? How to use temperance, right? My wisdom is showing me how to do these things. So now look, I want you guys to take a look at this as well too. And this is from Barbara O'Neill. And I forget, someone sent me this video a while back, but I forget who it was. So I'm sorry, brother or sister who sent me this video. If you're watching, you sent me this, but but I forget who sent me to. But I seen it a while back, and I'm like, she's breaking it down, and I want you guys to hear this as well too. When it comes to the operation of the brain, right? Like, listen to this, y'all. We're going to watch a little bit of it, right? Play it for you guys.
With man, it is in this part of the brain where God communicates with man. You can rewire your brain, show you how you can actually change even the way that you think. Isn't that good news?
So when she says, isn't this part of the brain where the Most High communicates with man, she's talking about, she's going to explain it, but I just wanted to say, for if you guys are lost in translation, the frontal lobe, because our brains is routed into 4 parts. You got the frontal lobe, you got the right and the left hemisphere, then you got the frontal lobe, and you got the back, right? So there's 4 parts, but the frontal lobe is right here where your spirit resides, in the front, or up here, how we say it in the scriptures, right, top of our heads. But the frontal lobe is how the Most High communicates with man. This is what she's saying, right? And scientifically, it's been proven. And this is why when Bill Gates of hell, right, spoke about the God gene particle, right? There's a video. I'm gonna try to see if I can find it and play it later, a little later if we have time, where he's speaking to the CIA, right, about the God gene particle. That's in the minds of man, but what's crazy is not every human has that gene, and she says that in this too. Not everybody have God in their minds, right? So there's a certain gene that certain people have that they're looking to eradicate, right? And they did a good job doing it for the most part, you know, with all of the processed foods, the candies, the sodas, the sweets, right? That clouds your brain, right? It's for you not to be able to receive that information. That's why your diet is synonymous with your spiritual walk. But let's continue.
These pathways are built in our brain. We can rewire our brain.
We can rewire our brain.
Until the day we die, we can rewire our brain.
We can rewire our brain. Listen to this.
When you have a look at the head, you will see 7 avenues of access into the brain. There are 2 ears, there are 2 eyes, there are 2 nostrils, and there is a mouth.
7.
Everything we hear or have ever heard, everything we see or have ever seen, everything we smell, and everything that goes into our mouth, whether it be food or drink, has an effect on the brain. Our decisions determine our destiny. So how important...
Y'all heard that? Our decisions affect our destiny. Our decisions affect our destiny.
That we know something about the decision-making part of our brain. This is an area that many people are ignorant. So we're going to begin by looking at the brain. Now, the brain, from side on, it looks a little bit like this. And there is what's called the limbic system. And the limbic system basically takes up about that part of the brain. And this limbic system is often called the emotional brain. And I think we all know about emotions. And I think we all know that emotions aren't a very good guide because they go up and down like the wind.
You see, it says emotions are not a very good guide. It goes up and down like the wind. Emotions are temporal. They don't last forever. So if you don't use reasoning behind your decision, if you just make a decision based off of how you're feeling at the moment, you always end up in a bad place.
But there's another part of our brain that God designed to actually control that limbic system, that emotional part of the brain. So to do this, we're going to have a look at the brain from top down. From top down, you will have a look at the brain like this, and in the front part of the brain, and we're going to call this the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain, and I think the way you're looking it is. So in the right part of the brain, you could call that the I won't section. That's down there. Now, this is a very important part of the brain. Where it's very important is, no, I won't have that cigarette. No, I won't have that cup of coffee. No, I won't have that big steak. I'll have a bowl of lentils instead. And on the left part of the brain is the I will.
So we see this is what they figured out through science, that the right side of your brain is the good angel. Like, all right, so y'all know, y'all remember, they always had the in the cartoons or in the TV shows, you had the good angel on the right side and the devil on your left side. And how ironic, on the right side of your brain where the good angel, they always put the good angel on the right side, is where, don't do this, I'm not going to do this, I don't think you should do that, the reasoning. And your left side of the brain is like, I'm going to do this. No, I will do this. I can, you know what? I'm doing that. So it's the battle between the reasoning, right? Let's continue.
And the I will part of the brain is also very important, because I will get out of bed and exercise this morning. I will go to bed early. I will make decisions that are helpful for my body. So you've got the I won't, and you've got the I will. And we need a little bit of balance in there, and that's where we come to, right in the center is the I want part of the brain. What do I want? Do I want a healthy body? And if I want a healthy body, then I can trigger the I won't do that, or I will do that. And God designed our brain so that this part of the brain, just here in the center, is where our goals are.
You see, and we say that this is where, in the temple on the top, is where your spirit resides. This is where the Most High feeds the information, right? The goals that he sets for us.
It's called the prefrontal cortex, or sometimes it's called the frontal lobe. And this is where our will is. This is where we make our decisions, and and the I will, or the I want, threaded through the won't.
Now it makes sense. Now we see when we read in the book of Revelations 13, it says that he shall cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark on their hand or in their forehead. In the forehead, in your frontal lobe, where the Most High sends the will, he sends the information. He said it in the book of Isaiah, I will be like the Most High. So Satan wants to be in your mind, feeding you the desires and the wills. It's not by accident. None of this stuff is made up. Well, let's continue.
Through the I want. That's actually what should govern our decisions. And that's so important, because our decisions determine our destiny. So in the front part of the brain, this is where our intellect is. This is where our reasoning powers reside. And this is where...
You see that? The front part of our minds is where reasoning comes and judgment. Y'all see that? Reason.
Judgment takes place. It is in this part of the brain where God communicates with man. In Isaiah 1:18, the Bible says, come, let us reason together. You see, this is where the reasoning happens. What should I do?
Come, let us reason together. Though your sins be like scarlet, I shall make them white. Like, well, we read that all the time. But it's making sense now. He really wants to reason with us, but he can't communicate with us because why? Our judgment is clouded. We're not even looking to him, and our food is all tainted, and all these chemicals, and the world is in our face. These devices. You could just scroll on your phone and just feed your desires, feed your lusts. So how can he communicate? How can he reason with us?
Should I stay in bed and have another hour, or should I get out of bed right now? And that influences whether we do the I will or the I want. That's the way God planned it. Unfortunately, there are many things today that people are doing that are actually clouding or compromising the part where our goals are, the part where our intellect, reason, and judgment is. And we've been looking at that this week, though I haven't actually...
So you see, the Most High designed it for mankind to have that part of their brain where he can communicate. But the devil, he knows if he could cloud your judgment, cloud your mind, and put something in front of your face that shines and glitters and gold, he can remove that part, right? And place himself there. And this is the reason why they're working so hard to attack the brain. Now it's like, okay, he see like, all right, they're waking up. The food is not working no more. They're not even eating the food no more. They're not even touching unclean food anymore. Dang, what we gonna do? Yeah, we're gonna have to inject them now. This is what, listen, it's not by accident they rolling out these campaigns. I'm telling y'all, it's a real attack.
Defined it as such. So dehydration compromises it.
Dehydration
Late nights compromises it. Lack of exercise compromises it. Bad food compromises it.
Y'all see that? Dehydration, late nights, lack of exercise, and bad food. Brain fog.
Bad air compromises
Bad
it.
air.
So on the other hand, when we're well hydrated, when we're well slept, when we've got nourishing food in our bodies, when we're breathing in fresh air, we're having sunshine every day, then the I want part, in fact, one author called it the guardian. That's the guardian that's actually influences the wills and the wants part of the brain.
And that's the Holy Spirit.
Of course, affected by the limbic system, which is your emotional, your feeling part of the brain. I'd like to use as my framework the 7 mental laws that govern the brain and show you how you can rewire your brain, show you how you can actually change even the way that you think. Isn't that good news?
Even
the first
you see,
law
it said it can help you change the way you think. Because a lot of us, before we came in the truth, we had to change the process of our brain. And through us changing the process of our brain, we was able to change the way we think. Brothers and sisters, this is a real case study, and they understand that. But with us, we didn't go through the study to learn that. It just happened naturally, but the Most High put us through that process, right?
is the law of cause and effect.
See?
Effect follows cause with unvarying degree all through nature. And never should the effect be blamed as the cause.
Right.
I had a lady come to me and she said, I found the cause of all my problems. I've got chronic fatigue syndrome. I said, no, that's not the cause of all your problems. That's actually the effect.
That's the effect, right.
Even when someone says, I've got depression, do you know you can't just get depression? Depression is actually an effect. It is not a cause.
What's the cause of depression?
Dehydration affects depression. Late nights affect depression. It's Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there is an equal and an opposite reaction. Proverbs 26 verse 2 states that the curse causeless shall not come. You know what that means? No problem happens without a cause. There is always a reason. In fact, to say someone just has something is to defy basic science. So we should always be looking at the cause of a problem. And sometimes the problem for depression could be too much coffee.
Right. It's like when a doctor tells you, yeah, you got cancer. And you just go around saying, yeah, I got cancer. How did you get cancer? They never pinpoint. You notice these doctors don't try to really pinpoint what was the cause of it. They just tell you the effect. But what was your lifestyle, or what were you doing leading up to the point where they said, okay, now you have cancer? We have to get to the root cause of why you're operating as such or this is happening to you. So you always got to get down to the root.
Dehydration. So that's the best place to start. When someone comes to me wanting help with depression, do you know that's what I do? I said, start drinking more water. Start easing off your coffee. You could stop your coffee straight away, but you might suffer. A clear indication that it's not doing you any good. I say start going to bed early. Start limiting your technology time. Start seriously assessing what you're watching and the effect it's having on your brain. Start exercising. but I don't feel like exercising. Yes, that's your limbic emotional brain. But what do you want? I want to feel good. I want to conquer my depression, so I will go and exercise. Can you see how that all threads into each other? The second law is the law of choice. And the law of choice, as you can see, is determined in that I want, the frontal lobe part of the brain, your guardian, where your goals are. This is what you feel like doing, but this is what you want, so that influences your decisions. And when you're well slept, well hydrated, well sunned, well exercised, well fed, that I want part of the brain is a lot stronger. But we've got something else coming here, and that's habit.
You see?
You've heard of habit?
Habit.
Habit can be our best friends or our worst enemies. To understand habit, I'm going to draw your brain cell. Here's your brain cell. It's your nerve cell. And we have 1 trillion of these in our brain. They're the dendrites, or the receiving stations. And this is the arm that comes out of the nerve cell. These are the little filaments on the end. They're the boutons. Here is the next nerve cell. Our nervous system is an electrical system, and it does not touch. They do not touch each other. They communicate with each other via little chemical messengers in the brain. And these little chemical messengers jump from cell to cell. So the chemical messengers come in, they're encapsulated in the nucleus, and then they're sent down the arm.
So you see, it's a chemical reaction that's going on in the brain, where the neurons is sending information to each other. So now what happens if they can create something that clouds your brain and that doesn't allow these neurons to connect to each other, and different parts of your brain doesn't really work the way it's supposed to work? Like, you ever spoke to somebody or seen somebody that's like void of spirit or void of understanding? Like, it's like you're talking to them, but it's like there's a brick wall between you and them. That's not because that's just the way they are. Chemically, there's something going on in their brains that they can't even understand what you're saying. The process of reasoning in their brain is not working well. And in order for somebody to understand what we be saying, they gotta clean up their life, literally, bro. They gotta clean up their habits, clean up their temple, their mind. So that's why sometimes, a gospel seen is better than a gospel heard, because people up here not really paying attention, not really listening. And it's not that they don't want to. They can't. Their brains physically can't do it because of all of the chemicals from over all of the years of what they're putting in there. Not just the chemicals, what they're watching, what they're putting into their brain. Whether it be music, videos, movies, conversations. It's a real thing.
And they come into the boutons, and then they're released out to the next nerve cells. Now, those messages can be traveling anywhere between 2 and 200 miles an hour. Well, in a crisis, anyone that's been in a war zone, they know you're moving, and you're moving very fast. Now, even though you're just sitting here, your brain cells can be moving fast because you're considering everything that you're hearing right now. And when you are hearing the things you're hearing, your brain is processing it through your I want. In fact, you're probably hearing some things, and you're probably thinking to yourself, I won't have that coffee anymore.
So you see, it's even been scientifically proven that as you're going through your day and you're observing everything, right, your brain goes through the process of the I want, which the scriptures defines as the lust of the eyes. That's what the scripture defines it as. But scientifically, they know that your brain automatically goes through a process of I want this, I want that. This is the reason why they pump ads everywhere, and they put it on TV, and they feed you. You gotta have this. You gotta get this. Every year there's a new phone, right? And the crazy part about it, the newest feature on the phone, they could have did it last year. But you holding that to put it on a new phone, but it looked the same. It's the same exact phone, but it just got one new feature. Because they understand that the way the brain works, you want it. I want. And a lot of us are so chemically dumbed down, we can't even use the right side of our brain to reason like, yo, do you really need this right now? And not only that, the Holy Spirit can't even communicate like, yo, don't even get that right now. You don't need that. So they got this whole thing mapped out. This is why I say praise the Most High that He's waking us up and He's showing us what's really happening here. And he's teaching us this information again to understand how to live the right way according to His standards. How to be the Adam that before the fall. And the only way we could become that Adam is through Christ, because He's the only one that can show us how to reason right. Y'all see that? So, that's all of the video I'm going to play. I encourage you guys to go and take a look at her. This particular topic that she's talking about, the process of the brain. Scientifically, they say that for young boys, and this is why for you fathers that's watching right now, right, it's very important for us to be and especially in the young boys, and be in their lives, because and this is scientifically proven too. They say in all men, all young men, our frontal lobes, right, according to what she was saying, where the Most High speaks to man and gives us our will, right, the I will do, right, and He communicates to mankind. For men, that doesn't fully develop until a man or until a male reaches the age of 30. Look it up. So for men, right, for males, your frontal lobe doesn't fully develop until the age of 30. So now when you reach the age 30 and you look back of all the decisions that you used to make, you're like, dang, I wish I knew this when I was 25. Man, I wish I knew this when I was 18. It's not that, and when I found that out, I was like, okay, now it makes sense. Because certain information, if I had received it when I was 18, I would have never understood it the way I understand it now. Because I'm a full-age man now. My frontal lobe is fully developed, so now I can properly discern right from wrong. Right? Not to say that we couldn't do that when we was younger, but your frontal lobe wasn't fully developed. That's what they say scientifically, right? So they're saying, I found that very interesting. So when it comes to that's why when you read Deuteronomy chapter 7, chapter, I believe it's chapter 8 as well, 7 or 8. I believe it's chapter 7, matter of fact, where the Most High tells us, Deuteronomy 6 and 7, where the Most High tells us how we are supposed to interact with the children as we walk with them. By the way, instruct them the law. Tell them the stories of what happened in the past, because why? It's going to stay in their mind, and when their brain fully develops, they will never walk away from it. Listen, what's so crazy is they're proving all of these things scientifically, but they're not trying to give credit to the Most High. It's the craziest thing. Scriptures clearly tells us, train up a child in the way he should go, and he shall never depart. Why will he never depart? Because as he's growing, you're teaching him that, and it's being stored in his brain. And his frontal lobe, as it's being developed, it's gonna, the will factor of what he's learning will always remain. That's crazy when you think about it. So much more in this video I want to play, because she says a lot of good stuff, but for time's sake, I'm not gonna play the rest. But listen, it's some good information. But reasoning, right? Reasoning is what we need to, is what we use. So now, what happens when we don't use reasoning? What happens when we don't use reason? What do you guys think happens? what do you think happens to a person who growing up never used reasoning? What do you think happens to that individual when they become a man or a full grown adult? Huh? What do you think happened? I gotta show this. And another thing too, somebody sent me this video too, and I can't remember who it is. Yeah, I get sent so much videos from left to right, but I want you guys to see this. How do you pause this thing? Second. One second. Screen. All right, look. Let me show you this video of what it looks like when someone does not reason, right? This is crazy. And the thing is, this is all of our people. Right? Somebody sent me this video. So, you know, what is it? This Monday coming up is Labor Day. Here in Brooklyn, man, well, not here, you know, but in Brooklyn, man, Labor Day is like, for me, like one of the worst times of the year, right? And you have before the Labor Day, you know, you guys know about the Labor Day parade out here in NYC in New York, right? But before Labor Day, right, that Sunday before Labor Day, they have something, a fete called Juve. Every year someone dies in this thing, but they continue to have it because they're feeding the demon that requires those souls. But that's another topic, right? So look, on your screen here, somebody posted this on Facebook, right? And somebody sent me this link. So, matter of fact, you guys just listen to this.
Oh, let's see what mass is about. Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, the priest playing jab. Are you prepared for people to talk about this?
The priest playing jab, jab, jab.
Yesterday, that was a big conversation in church.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. You know, whether or not religious people should be seen around jab.
That's stupidness. Yeah.
So he's supposed to be a pastor leading a congregation, and he's into this madness. And he's saying that stupidness that people is talking, that he shouldn't be a part of this. But let's go. And there's a thing called jab. Like, well, in the Creole, it's called jab. So it's basically spirits they dealing with.
Wherever Catholicism dwells, mass dwells.
You heard what he said? Wherever Catholicism dwells, mass dwell. So he's basically saying that this is part of the Catholic tradition. These wild, inordinate freak parties.
Okay.
Look at Brazil.
Yes.
Rio Carnival. It's because the most populated Catholic community is in Brazil.
Right.
You understand? So it goes with the culture.
Right.
Right. Throughout the Old Testament and New Testament was festivals.
What is he talking about? What is he talking about? And you see, he is reasoning, but he's not reasoning aright. He's reasoning to what makes his flesh feels good. He's saying throughout the Old Testament and New Testament, there was festivals. Yeah, there was festivals. Molochian child sacrifice and blood, drinking of blood and all of this weird satanic stuff. That's not the festivals that the Most High wanted us to indulge in. So what are you talking about?
Right. You understand? Yes. People drinking. In the Feast of Purim, they drink until they didn't know the difference between their friends and the enemy.
You know what he said? In the Feast of Purim, people were drinking until they didn't know the name. They couldn't tell between the face of their friend or their enemy. I mean, we celebrate the Feast of Purim. I never got crazy drunk and couldn't understand and didn't know who was around me. I mean, I've read the book of Esther, and I never seen them get crazy drunk. And what is he talking about?
That's the importance of reveling and just forgetting everything and just...
That's the importance of reveling. Hold on. This man must not. What? Hold on. Let me go to it real quick. He said that's the importance of revelings. Look at this. He done lost his mind.
Bamboozled, ran amok, led astray.
Yeah. He's led astray. He's been bamboozled. Say it again, Elder.
Bamboozled, ran amok, led astray.
Because I don't know what book he's reading. Because we don't got that book. Right? So I'm in Galatians. What? I'm in Galatians chapter 5. It says, Galatians 5:19. It says, now the works of the flesh are manifest. Which are these? So let's see what he dealing with. Adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, heresies, envyings, murders, drunkenness. So I don't know what feast of Purim he was at. Revelings. What? And such like, of the which I tell you before, as I have also told you in times past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of God. So what kingdom is he trying to inherit? Like, what? Speaking about not reasoning aright. Oh my goodness.
Enjoying yourself.
Enjoying yourself.
Yes. Right. I'm happy to see that you're that brave.
But not that brave.
You see, you even the moderator is like, yo, this is a pastor? He said, I'm happy to see that you're that brave. Like, yo, I never heard a pastor talk like you. What? He's a minister of Satan.
Since I was 9 years.
Wow.
Okay. Well, I had two man bosses, job bosses in Grenada. You were young.
Yes, I was.
In the early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, I play my mass every year. Well, I kind of get old now and I kind of have mass friends and so on.
Right.
But I went back to Trinidad after studies in 92 and every year I play mass until about 94.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right, well,
yeah,
good to see you and be safe.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Take care.
Hopefully you can convince some more of your congregation to come to mass next year.
Well, the Catholics play carnival all the time. We don't have to bother with them.
Right.
The vast majority of people is Catholics.
There you go. There you go. Right from the horse's mouth. He said majority of the Catholics here, they play mad. Don't let them fool you. He said hopefully the moderator told him on something, yeah. Hopefully you could convince some of your congregates to come out. You're like, don't worry, they're already here. That's what he's saying. So listen, I don't know what he was talking about, but revelings and such like all of these things, according to the scriptures, you're not getting into the kingdom. So that's a prime example, brothers and sisters, of what not reasoning aright actually looks like. You actually make an excuse for what the Bible says is wrong. You start to make excuses for it. And not only that, you try to make it seem like, yeah, it's in the Bible. Yeah. We did that. Not my Bible. Not my Bible. And on top of that, brothers and sisters, what also make reasoning so hard for the youth and even into our adulthood, the unrighteous now have more of a platform, have a bigger platform to speak about foolishness and debauchery and all type of sin more than the righteous. Right? More than the righteous. And it's to the point where it's like, yo, it's It's kind of like, come on, man. Nobody see anything wrong with this? And this is how we know the world doesn't care about the Most High. I'm looking. It's like, yo, no way. Regular people don't think that this is off. This is wrong. Hold on. Psalms 94:16, it reads, who will rise up for me against the evildoers? That's what the Most High is asking. Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? And why did I just read this scripture? And I can't believe, to this day, I cannot believe that there is platforms like this. Horrible decisions. And y'all see the play on words? They use the word whore in the beginning, because that's actually what they are. Look at the platforms that's given to the unrighteous to spread this madness. I don't even want to read some of the titles, but it's all about the lust of the flesh. Jamaican D is demonic. The idol is porn brain. Like, and this is a platform where these whorish women are sitting down speaking about things that should be done in private between a husband and a wife. But like the scripture says, unchastity shall be abound in the last days. Wickedness and unchastity. The name of their podcast YouTube show is called Horrible Decisions, with the word whore in all caps. You can't make this stuff up. Like, seeing stuff like this makes me upset. Like, yo, why is this even on here? And this is what the Most High was saying. The world is done. Like, this thing that we're living in, that we're living on, this planet, is finished. Like, there's a few good people left. You understand what I'm saying? But majority of the world is already turned over to Satan. When you can have a platform, like nothing like this would have ever went down back in the day. Back in the day, sisters had a level of shame and discreetness to not expose what they were doing. Let me get these harlots off the stage, off the screen. Sorry. Back in the day, women had some type of shame to not speak publicly about what they do privately. It's to the point now where that podcast, there's more podcasts of sisters that's like this, that's doing stuff like this. This is just one of the many that's out there where they're just talking about nasty and filthy things. And this is another thing that people have to battle and fight and trying to fight and overcome lust. Just one of the areas. There's so much lust-driven podcasts and shows. And when I say lust, I'm not just talking about the sexual lust. I'm talking about money, like the money lust, trying to get rich overnight. These videos, all of these schemes and all of these things to feed the flesh. And this is what we're up against. This is the world. Something that would have never been spoken of openly like that is now being grandized. for the world to see. And guess what? Our children is exposed to this. They could easily click on YouTube and that could be a suggested video for them to watch. And now their eyes is being exposed to something that they never even heard before, they never even learned before, and opens up another doorway for them to sin and to transgress. Platforms like this. It's disgusting, bro. But what are we going to do? We are to continue to serve the Most High, to fear him. Right? I'm gonna read this last scripture, then I'm gonna open up the lines, and we'll talk based on this, right? A couple of minutes. Read this last scripture. I'm in 1 John chapter 2 verse 15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. Because it's finished. It's done. It's all a lie. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And it's clearly seen that the love of the Father is not in him because he can't even communicate with them. You create a show called Horrible Decisions with the word whore in it. Like, do any of these women think, yo, maybe my children might see this show and I'm gonna have, like, I don't know, bro. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh and the lust of the eyes and the pride of life is not of the Father, but it is of the world. And the world passeth away and the lust thereof. So the world is passing away. And the lust that's with the world is going to pass away. So it's all a scheme. It's all a lie. It's not here. It's not going to be here forever. But he that doeth the will of the Most High abideth forever. Amen. Crystal clear. So if you choose to not use reasoning and to continue to chase the lust of this world and the lust of the flesh, that's on you at the end of the day. Because the Most High gave every man and woman the ability to reason, the ability to choose right from wrong, the ability to say, you know what, I'm not going to do that because the cause and the effect is greater than this 15 seconds of pleasure. We all have to choose. Like Joshua said, as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Y'all could continue serving the gods, on the other side of the flood. But as for me and my family, we're going to serve the Most High. All right. So, yeah, brothers and sisters, overcoming the flesh. Overcoming the flesh. We gotta overcome, brothers and sisters. Trust me, it's in us all. We could do it. You just have to have the willpower to overcome. You can do it. Through Christ, he's given us the power to do so. But you have to want it. You know what I'm saying? You have to. And I always say this, like, being in this truth is like being an athlete. You got to be competitive. You got to want to overcome. You can't just roll over and just let Satan just run right through you. You understand what I'm saying? But, nonetheless, this world is going to continue doing what this world is doing. And, we're going to continue to do what we're doing for the Most High. Right? So, 1 second. Okay. So, I'm going to open up the lines real quick. And I definitely want you guys to come on and to talk about how keep it brief on how, we all overcome, or how the Most High helped us overcome. So we got our first caller calling in right now. I'll get this call, right? And for those of you guys who are calling in, right, the number is 646-439-6959, right? So I'm on the phone right now with area code 470. Who am I speaking with? Welcome to the Born and Levi Experience, Deacon Hazak.
Shalom, Deacon Hazak.
Shalom. Who am I speaking with?
It's Kayam, North Carolina by.
Hezekiah?
Kayam.
Oh, Kayam. Okay, shalom, brother. What's going on?
Shalom, man, great topic, man. It's glad to have you back, man.
All praises.
We was missing you.
Praise the Most High. Listen.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
No. I was saying moving is not as easy as everybody think, man. Is when you got to move your whole house to another place is crazy. But yeah, man. Praise the Most High.
Right. Right, and then getting stuff dead. Like, you know what? We're gonna leave it here for a few days because I'm tired. But
right.
Hey, Deacon. That song you got, time wait for nothing. Oh man, that's timely right now because time don't wait for nobody. And if brothers and sisters don't clean up their temples, the Holy Spirit's not gonna be with them. So
right.
What I had to learn because
wait, but brother, that's not actually my song. I just used it. That's from an artist called Music Soul Child.
Oh, okay, got you. Got you. But I love the video. The video sounds else.
Praise the Most High. All praises.
Yeah, all praises. And I was gonna say that we have to make sure that we destroy this flesh. Because if we don't destroy the flesh and clean up our temples, the Holy Spirit is not going to be with us, and we're not going to be able to be guided to what's to come.
Right.
And I had to learn. First, I was drinking coffee to try to get rid of the habit of smoking. And I remember as soon as I stopped, it was like you'll hear a voice. You hear something say like, man, it ain't gonna hurt you. Go get one more, you'll be fine. And you got to fight through it. You got to realize the judgment. Because I remember Elder Rawchaa said that most people are going to be be in hell longer than they've been on earth, and that hit so deep. I was like, man. And then you got to realize that once you get there, the torment and just saying, I wish I would have listened.
Right.
We gotta remind ourselves that. Constantly, because it's not going to be something that's joyful to be in the lake of fire.
Right.
And I thank you for coming back because it's like, man, we definitely missed you.
All praise be to the Most High, man. And I missed you guys too, man. But I just had to make sure I had to put everything in order. Make sure everything in here was situated so that way you guys could have a nice broadcast, a nice stream, man. So praise the Most High, man. I'm back. And Most High willing, it stays that way.
God. Can I read one scripture?
No, go ahead, brother.
Okay, awesome. And this is in Psalms. This is Psalms. 1 second. Psalms 101:7, and it says, "He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that tells lies shall not tarry in my sight." And it's 8. "I will early destroy all wicked of the land, that I may cut off all wicked doers from the city of the Most High, or Yeshua." You know what I mean? So it's that saying right there. It's like all wicked, all deceit, anything that is going against the lesser statues. You know what I mean? We have to keep all of them. We got to know the whole matter. So right. I just wanted to leave the family with that.
Praise the Most High. I appreciate that scripture because listen, that's the goal. Is for us to purge ourselves every day until there's no wicked left. You understand? Until we could, until we're able to walk perfectly, man. But I really appreciate the scripture. I appreciate you, brother Kayam. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for calling in, my brother.
Shalom, D.
All right, shalom, Mark. All right, praise the Most High, man. Yeah, brothers and sisters. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High. So once again, the number is 646-439-6959. Right? Take a few more calls. Definitely want to hear, and praise the Most High for that testimony too, because as you can see, that brother was dealing with smoking cigarettes, man. And the left side of his brain was trying to convince him, like, yo, nah, just one more, it's not gonna hurt. That demon was trying to convince him, like, nah, just take one more, it's not gonna hurt. But we gotta have the willpower, and we gotta use reasoning, because his reasoning was like, yo, I don't want to get to the other side and be like, yo, I wish I did the right thing. See what I'm saying? So we gotta act upon it as we can act upon it now, right? Yeah. So, if you guys want to call in. Like I said, 646-439-6959. But man, can you believe? I can't believe I'm just still looking at this YouTube channel, man. And like I said, there's plenty of channels like this. They're just showing debauchery and all of this weird nonsense, man. And this is what we gotta fight through daily. And it's bad enough on these devices that just stuff like that just be popping up on certain social media platforms, and you gotta filter what you want to see, what you don't want to see. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a lot, but we could definitely overcome, because the Most High is helping us reason it right. Praise the Most High, right? There was something else I wanted to show as well too. Let me see if I can find it before we continue, right? Before I do that, let me take this call. We got another caller coming in. This is area code 667.
Shalom, Deacon Hazak.
Shalom. Who am I speaking with?
This is Sister Danita from DMV.
Hey, Sister Danita, nice to hear from you, man.
Hey,
Sister Danita.
good to see you. Good to see you back, man. We was all missing you on Thursdays, of course, watching all your old stuff. But great topic tonight. Great topic. There's so many addictions that we all go through. There's so many things that we all deal with, and I mean, mine is one of many. I like that DJ King Styles came out with his alcohol testimony, because that was one of mine as well. And for me, like I said, what got me over that and got me through was the Most High. And, he spoke to me when I was young, because I'm one of the sisters that had my hot girl summer when I was younger, in my teenage years.
Right.
So I didn't live my life early, from 12 on up. It's hard to, and it was due to like a lot of poor choices from, family dynamics and stuff. I was one of them kids that was blessed with a mother and a father, but my parents was dealing with their own issues before they had us. And, it's just so many stuff led me down the wrong path early. And all praises to the Most High that, he spoke to me in time when I was 11. And then he spoke to me again at 22, I want to say. So I'm thankful that I don't have to deal with that demon of alcoholism anymore.
Right.
That for me, I just kept praying, and then I had that spirit of anger. So it's so much stuff comes from alcohol that leads to another demon, to another demon, to another.
Yeah.
So mine was alcohol, mine was anger, mine was fornication. Oh man, it was so many different things. So it's just one addiction to the next.
Right.
So for anybody that's dealing with these things, and I mean, even with some of the sisters that I hear them say, like, I'm dealing with fornication. always pray and come to the Most High first.
Yeah.
And ask him to take that from you because he did it for me.
Right. Praise the Most High.
And if it saved me, I know it can save everybody else out here. So confess your faults first and do all that you can to stay away from them triggers.
Right.
Like me with alcohol, I don't drink no wine. I don't drink no alcohol. I don't even deal with that. And, I actually went, I'm going to say a quick story, then somebody else. I know I'm taking up time, but I went to my cousin's 60th party a couple weekends ago, and she turned 60. All my older cousins were there drinking, getting lit. And I came over to them, I hugged all of them, and they was like, hey, Day, you want some Henny? And I looked at them like, look, y'all, I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't deal with none of that stuff anymore. And my oldest cousin that knows me.
Right.
And you know how they like to bring up your old self.
Of course. They
he
always
was like,
gonna find a way.
Telling me? He looked me in the eye. He like, you telling me, Day, you don't drink anymore? Come on. And I was like, I'm serious, man. I found who I am now. I love who I am now. I said, the Most High saved me from me.
Right.
And he looked at me, he's like, you're the one that used to bring the drinks. Wow. What are you saying to me right now?
You see, those spirits know how to try to reel you back in.
Yeah. And he was like, just have some Henny. I said, bro, look, I'm going outside. I found myself. I'm going to the dance floor. So if you want to come out here and dance a little with me, I'll meet you on the dance floor. Right. But other than that, I'm gone.
Praise the Most
So
High.
I left out the door. Everybody's mouth dropped. And I heard my cousins like, what just happened?
Right. Well, praise the Most High, man. I'm happy. I'm definitely happy that the Most High was able to restore you, and to show you a new way and show you a new path, man. Because there's some people who still dealing with addiction and they don't know how to find their way out. But here we are in this truth. The Most High has given us the way out, and this is what I want to hear. I want to hear about these testimonies because this strengthens everybody else who's listening, or somebody who's listening right now who may feel like they don't have a way out, and we have countless of testimonies of people who found a way.
That's right.
So praise the Most High.
It can be done.
Right.
It can be done. I mean, all praises to the Most High.
Yes.
He, he speaks to us. So all praises.
All praises.
I yield with that.
Well, Sister Denita, is always good having you on. Greet everybody in the DMV for me even if they watching too. Still greet them for me. Praise the Most High. Praise the Most High, and definitely appreciate your call.
Shalom.
All right, shalom. All right. I also had a 937 area code call. A 937-917 number call. So if you're hearing this, 937, okay. I got Brother Samuel calling in. Hey, shalom.
Shalom, Mark.
All right, what's going on?
Nothing, brother. I'm sitting here watching the broadcast, and I'm sitting there reasoning with myself. Do I call in? I got a piece. Do I not call in? I'm tired, but my want overpowered the want to, my will overpowers the want to sit down for somebody my need is. So, I was speaking with a brother earlier today about, John chapter 14, and we have to know that Christ chose us for that, that he loves us, that the Most High loves us, and knowing that gives us that drive to want to go and reason and want to do what we're required to do, because he's called us into this truth. Zach out there, Officer Zach, and one of the lessons that I used to watch when you guys were streaming on live on YouTube, he said one thing that always stuck with me is like, the Most High called you to this because he already sees you finishing.
Right.
He already made it. He already made it to where you can finish. Now, you pretty much, are you willing to finish?
Right.
So to speak to the reasoning part of it, I was thinking of Matthew 6:22 and 23. It says, "The light of the body is the eye. If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. And therefore the light that is in thee be darkness. How great is that darkness?" So I was speaking with a brother today, and correct me if I'm wrong, but pretty much I brought this scripture up, and it's like, if we're focusing on all the negatives, if we're focusing on everything that is wicked or that is evil or that is dark or whatever, and that, yes, we must know what is, we must have prudence. We got to know and eschew evil and stuff. But the building of the kingdom comes into effect when I can look at a man and I can see what's good in him, because when Christ walked around, he walked around seeing what was good in people, but he wasn't dealing with none of what was evil in people. But his eye was always light. If he would have seen me, he would have seen the good things that Sam did so that he could help me. And same thing, like, that's how we got to learn to reason and operate as followers of Christ, is that man that is over there struggling with this sin or that sin, or behind this register behind me, he's being rude, he's being disrespectful. But where's Christ at in this man? Where's the light at in this man? Right. Where's the kingdom at in this man? Because we know that there's a part of Christ in each and every one of us, whether we're in this truth or whether we're not. Because he created us. We're in the essence of the Most High God. So just bringing that to the forefront, with reason, with our decisions, with other people, because a lot of our struggles, and this is what I was talking about with the brother earlier, is like, a lot of our struggles deal and stem with other people, but once we reason and once we choose the light over the darkness, because we can, if you go looking for what's wrong with people, you're going to find it. If you go looking for what's dark, you're going to find it, especially in a wicked world. So that's just the piece I wanted to bring, because I think once we progress to the standard of looking for the light and highlighting that wherever we go, because if we're to be about light, we should always be looking for it too. Because I'm looking at, like, how's this person treating me? Okay, man, this brother, even if they're not, I got the light, so let me put forth it.
And that's what we actually call to do. We gotta show forth our light. Definitely. Right. But yeah, I definitely appreciate you calling in. But it's definitely what we've been highlighting this whole night and bringing forth is you actually reasoning and making sure that we seeing the light before we see the darkness. Don't, you know what I'm saying? See the benefit. What's the benefit, or what is the end result of this action that's going to take place right here? Is it beneficial or is it harmful? Right. So yeah, but well,
I hope you've been well with the transition. I missed you. And,
listen, man, praise the Most High, man.
I didn't call you, but I was like close to it.
No, but listen, man, you could call, text, whatever the case is. I was still picking up the phone, but but it was a lot of work. But praise the Most High. Majority of the things is already in order. Just it's day by day from here. But we definitely really appreciate you calling in, bro. Definitely got other people calling in, so let me get to these people as well too. We're gonna talk.
Yes, sir. Bless you. Shalom.
Shalom. All praises be to the Most High. Skip. All right. 937. You've been calling. I also seen you calling as well too. Brother Mike from the New Jersey body. I'm gonna call you after I speak to this person. I also had a 609 calling, but then I want to get to the 937. The 937 number. I should try to call. Right? 937. If you're hearing this, you could call in. I'll take your call first because you've been calling. Right, so praise the Most High for the testimonies, for the scripture reading that you guys are bringing forth, and just adding on to the conversation. Here it goes, 937. All right, so 937, Shalom. Who am I speaking with?
Shalom, Deacon Hazak. This is Dr. Wright or Don Shea from the Cincinnati body.
Shalom. How you doing, sister?
I'm doing well. Let me turn this on. I just wanted to call in and give like a brief testimony on one of my addictions that had a stronghold on me before me coming into this truth. And I dealt with more so like smoking weed, I guess, if that's okay to say. And that had a stronghold on me since I was like 14, because that's when I started. And that was one of my barriers and one of my burdens or addictions, like one of the toughest demons that I was fighting and battling with before I even knew that it was a demon or so, before I had the knowledge that I have now. And that actually led me to the truth because that was my introduction. Like, I was just tired of living the life that I was living. I was going through a lot, that I always resorted back to that. And I actually had a stubborn phase was like, I don't care, whatever I'm going through, I'm not going to stop doing it. Like, that's something I felt like I couldn't stop doing because my own stubbornness, like every time when something happened, that's what I resorted to.
Right.
Like, and I was just over it and like just tired of living the life that I was living. Like, so that was one of my goals on top of connecting with the Most High, like building a stronger relationship with the Most High. And the situation that I was in, the living situation that I was in at that time, and the predicament and the environment that I was in, I was like, I was just yelling because I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know how to do any of that. So I was just like yelling to the sky. There was a lot going on. I was just looking up, like yelling, like, why am I going through this? I don't think I can stop doing this until I'm out of this situation. Like, and that was one of the things where he gave me the strength and the power to actually stop. And the truth got brought to me, and
you see that
everything led from there.
You see that, and praise the Most High. Like, we all could attest to that. Having that epiphany moment, that confession moment, speaking to the Most High, and then boom, he reveals the truth. So, praise the Most High that he is able to help you overcome that addiction. And trust me, you're not the only one who's dealing with that, that addiction of smoking marijuana, right? A lot of people think that it's okay to do it, it's spiritual. All right, so if it's spiritual, why is it not in the scriptures for us to do it, right? Why is that not a requirement for us to do it, right? But a lot of people don't understand the spirits that come with it, right? And the thing is, they may not see the spirit that's using them, but it always usually comes out when you talk to them. It could be either a spirit of anger, it could be lust, it usually comes out, it shows itself. But praise the Most High was able to deliver you from that. And but let me ask you, how were you able to, like, what was your coping mechanism? Like, what did you do outside of that? Like, you used to resort to smoking marijuana. What did you do besides that to help you not turn to that? What did you use to cope?
Honestly, it was more so like a drive behind it, like, because I was already like, I wanted to stop smoking, but I didn't know how to. Like, I didn't have the strength to. At least I thought I didn't. And I want to say that year I had came, well, what they call the new year. I had came in that year sober.
Mm.
And I never done that before. Like no alcohol, no nothing. Like I was sober, mind was clear. Like I never had that. I never experienced that before because again, I was doing that since I was 14.
Right.
So, really it was the Most High because me coming into that and that actually me being introduced to the truth and the Most High gave me the strength to do it. And I say that because that put the fire behind me to like, yeah, I'm stopping. I'm going to stop. Like I felt it was a difference. Like that's how I knew he was real. Him giving me the strength to stop. Because it was introduced to me like that smoking weed was a part of, it's like witchcraft. And I was like, ooh, like it nicked my soul, like it nicked my spirit. And I was like, really? Really? So that gave me the fire to do what it was that I was yearning to do from the beginning. And he was actually molding me prior, like in different situations all the way up to that, like even through the, what they call it, the pandemic situation or whatever. All through there, it was like he was molding me and I didn't know what it was. And I felt like, oh, something is telling me to do this whole time with the Holy Spirit. And that was one of the ways that he revealed himself to me. Like, you can stop, you go and stop. I even had a moment in between that time and like, I just can't do it. And like how I said, how I stated that I was yelling out like, I can't stop until you remove me out of this situation. And that was like giving a Most High, what is the word? Ultimatum. And I even felt that too. Like I felt that in my spirit. Like it was, like I was convicted. Like you gonna stop. Else you never gonna get out this situation.
Right.
And when I tell you I stopped smoking, put my trust behind him, like I had a drill. Like it was like a zeal to where I was just, the person who introduced me to the truth gave me the knowledge on fasting, the power behind it, and I was just being like, I really poured everything into me, like that I had into me, and put it into the Most High from the trust. When I tell you, when I stopped smoking, and that was like the green light. He gave me the sign after sign, having a clear mind, a sound mind, and just moving when he said to move, even though when I really didn't really understand it because it was fresh. It was new to me.
Well, praise the Most High.
And blessings poured in, like blessings poured in repeatedly, like, and I was able to see like, wow, this is really him. Like God is really real. Like it was a blessing.
but you see, it took you to stop doing your or stop falling into your habit to be able to see him actually working. See what I'm saying? So praise the Most High for that.
Kind. So I was gonna say too, like just to land back off of what you said, like you have to make that decision to do it.
Yeah.
Once you make that decision, he gives you the power to do it. And when you, and confession also, when you do that, that gives you the power behind everything. Like he will strengthen you along the way because he will know. He searches our hearts. So he knows what you really mean.
But you know what actually helped you? What actually helped you was you actually seeing the negative or the negative root of what you were dealing with, because you didn't have the knowledge and the understanding, you didn't have the wisdom. But once you was educated on, this is what you're really doing is witchcraft, then you was able to reason properly. You understand? So it goes to show that we need the Most High's laws to help us govern these things that we deal with in the flesh. But praise the Most High. Thank you for calling in, sister. And continue standing firm with the Most High and letting them lead you.
Yes, sir.
All right,
I appreciate you taking my call.
No problem, sister. All praise.
Shalom.
Oh man, what a blessing to hear the deliverance stories of our brothers and sisters, man. What a blessing. I have 443 calling in. 443. Who's that just called? Was that 443 that just called? I think it was. I had a 443 calling in. Was there a 443 calling in? Okay, I got. Shalom, shalom. Shalom, Sister Louise.
Shalom, Deacon Hazak. How are you doing today?
I'm all right. What's going on, sister?
I just wanted to say all praises to the sister that actually really went through smoking and got through that. I really say praises to the Most High for that.
All praises, all praises. Definitely. If you can mute your background.
Really say praises to the Most High.
Hello?
How's that?
That's better. That's better. I see you calling 443. I'll call you back right after this one. Yeah, go ahead, sister.
All praises. I'll talk to you later.
Okay. All right. Thank you for calling in, sis.
No problem. Good seeing you back.
Likewise. All praises. All right. So 443 area code. I think I missed you again. Let me try calling you this time. Let me try that. Let me try to call you back. Then after that, I got to call. I seen Brother Mike calling. I got to call you back as well too. 443 area code.
Khan.
Shalom. Who am I speaking with?
You've been speaking with Brother Rawchaa from the DMV congregation.
Oh, okay. Shalom. What's going on, brother?
Shalom, Deacon. Good to see you back in the game, and I appreciate it, Deacon.
All praises.
You picked up my call. Yeah. First, I want to. I really appreciate all the hard work you all putting in, and especially with this lesson tonight. I battled addiction in my years. One of my biggest ones was my addiction to cocaine and crack.
Okay.
And this was years back. This was like in the early 90s, but also too, smoked weed, drank too much, overeat. So, I deal with a myriad of addictions. My family dealt with it.
Right.
My mother passed away due to that, and I had other family members pass away as a result of it.
So Brother Rawchaa, let me ask you, because you said you was addicted to cocaine and crack. Those are strong addictions. How you was able to kick that?
That's where I'm getting ready to go.
Oh, okay.
The Most High. It was only the Most High, because I had relatives that went to treatment center. I seen this even as a kid. My aunt and my uncles, all of them, going to various treatment centers. They come out looking good, do good for a little while, they fall back off. Come out, even went to prison. They went to prison, get cleaned up, come back, hit the streets again, boom, they back in the same situation. Addicted to heroin. So I've seen it all in my community. That's what I grew up around, people.
How did you get into that?
Well, it started out, seeing them doing all their things, right? Because I used to see them, banging the arm and everything in front of me, hit lines in front of me, smoking the weed. But, I would say I would never do that. And I had one part of the family that was into the church, like my grandparents, but then, it was always this conflict. But the Most High always used to speak to me, and, even on small levels, even when I was 7 years old, I asked my grandfather, who was a preacher, why do we go to church on Sunday? The Bible said we should go to church on Saturday because it says the seventh day. So the Most High was always communicating to me. Right. He gave the run-of-the-mill excuse, but anyway, by seeing them do that and things that I went through as a young man, and then the death of my mother, she died powerfully. Matter of fact, she died up in New York, in Harlem, not too far from you guys. But, I was on a path. I was just angry, frustrated, didn't do well in school, all kind of things. My hopes and dreams were crushed a lot of the times. So it was a point where I was hopeless. But then I just started seeing people, smoking weed, going to little parties, especially in high school, people. And I was introduced to cocaine though, actually, through my uncle. He had a friend, he was a dealer up in Connecticut, and we would go up and get packages and from him, and he introduced me to the cocaine.
Okay.
And so when I first tried it, I loved it. But and then they always say, "Oh, yeah, cocaine is for the brain. It makes you smarter and this and that."
That's what they tell you.
Progressive.
More aware,
that's what they tell you, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So I would do that and try to, I thought I was always wanting to achieve something. Right. Because even though people told me I couldn't do nothing or wouldn't amount to anything, I still had a drive to go forward to do something. But the Most High, even in that madness like that I was going through, He showed me what not only my parents were going through, but the people around them. So that's why I never tried heroin, because I would see people on that, and they would say, "Yeah, man, I've been on this for 30 years, 20, 30 years." And it's crazy. And they would always school me to the science of it. They would say, that's why I want to read Romans chapter 7 to you, about that war and that members, because, it talks about that. And they would say, well, heroin, if you're on it a long time, it's not just a mental thing, it's a physical thing. And if you stop, you're going to die. And see, that used to scare me. And then I never liked needles.
Right.
So then I was introduced to crack through dealing with with women that I shouldn't be dealing with, right? And me and some other guys was involved with these women, and one of them was smoking crack. And I said, man, what's in this that make people go crazy? So I tried it just to see. And at first it didn't do anything. But then, cunning as Satan is, he just brought it in smoothly the second time, maybe a couple weeks later. And then after that, and time goes like nothing. Next thing you know, you're out there binging on it, singing for it. And I was locked in, and I'm telling you, Deacon, with any of these problems that we have, especially with these lusts and these addictions, these demons, they have a powerful hold on you.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful where you will actually start trembling, because it's like what Romans 7, Paul was saying, it's a war in my members.
Right, yeah.
And it's like your mind is saying, no, do not do this. But it's like your hands start shaking. You actually literally start shaking. Like you're fighting yourself not to do these things. You're like, this is wrong. I want to stop, and I will pray,
Right.
That's the Lord, and please take me off of it. I didn't know the truth then, but I knew of something, but it was always, it would be like a struggle. And I would know one day I went on a bad binge. I know I even had an aneurysm one time. It was so bad. I was smoking so much. And I remember going on this bad binge, almost a 24-hour binge. And it was one morning, and I was sitting in the car with another brother, we were smoking, and we also too, his brother, he was a dealer, so he had gave us product to go out there, but he asked for a certain amount back. He knew he was gonna mess it up, but he wanted a certain amount of money back, so we had to go and make his money back. And I was just out there that one morning. I said, man, I don't want to live like this no more. I don't want to live. And I went, at the time I went to church with my grandmother that same morning, and went into prayer chapel. and prayed the whole time during the on the sermon, asking the Most High, whatever it takes, please take me off of this. And he did.
Praise
and
the
he
Most High.
did. But check this out. Satan was so cunning. Satan was so cunning. And this was maybe months after, and I said, well, look, I got to start doing positive things with myself. So I enrolled in the local community college, started taking some classes, got me a job at a local cafeteria. However, Satan was cunning. There was people in the cafeteria. One was the assistant manager and the other guy.
Let me guess, they were dealers.
They was using.
They was users.
I didn't even know because they didn't have a car, right? So I would take them home. I took them home. And see, this is why you got to go all in, too, because I was still drinking. I was still smoking weed. See, so they would say, yeah, man, we're going to, it was payday. Said, we're going to go out and get something, man. So I'm thinking we're going to go out and get some 40s and all that, right? Now, they didn't even know my history. I never met these guys before, right? Never met them. Except for that job. And I never told them what my history was. And I said, well, where are we going to pick up the beer at? He said, no, we ain't picking that up. We're getting them rocks.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. So I'm in this crib with these guys, and we got ladies in there. They're smoking. And I'm looking at it. And here that energy comes back again, that negative, that resistance.
Right.
And I spoke a little bit, but I handed it back to the other guy. And
you got out of there.
Next thing I know, yeah, well, this is the thing. I was looking at the guy that was assistant manager. We just got paid. Back then, they would give you your money straight up to you, right? I looked at him, and he went in both of his pockets and pulled out nothing but lint. And I saw the saddest look on his face. And I've been there so many times already.
Right.
I said, you know what, guys? I'll see y'all later, man. I got up out of there.
Praise
and asked the Most High to forgive me.
Well, praise the Most High. Praise the Most High.
God.
Well, I'm happy that
I just want to.
He got you off that. Go ahead, finish your last point.
Yeah, I just want to beat this Romans chapter 7 with that. Because you was talking about the mind, too. And Romans chapter 7, I start at verse 22. For I delight in the law of the Most High after the inward man. But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members. That's what I was struggling with.
Praise the, you see, praise the Most High, and the scriptures really identifies what we're dealing with, man. But you know, the water for
brothers
the call.
and sisters, they got to be careful. They got to be careful too. Even when you're in the truth, there's little things.
Yes.
Little things, little slip up. Even in the tiniest things,
especially us in the truth. Right.
Especially us in the truth, because I had little chinks. I didn't go back to that, but the demons are so cunning. You can drink a little too much. You can overindulge in this or overindulge in that. The next thing. And, you know, they slow walk you back in.
Right.
They're patient. That's all I want to say on that.
Now, praise the Most High. And it's like what we was reading about reasoning. Self-control is the highest form of virtue. So, praise the Most High for that. I really definitely appreciate your call and your testimony, my brother. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. And Deacon, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
One more thing. When you go to that water, that's the thing, too, that makes me be conscious.
Right.
And all on this phone call, remember what you did. What the reason you went for that water to that water, and don't let that old man come back up. That's all I say.
Praise the Most High. All right, appreciate you, my brother. You have a good night. Bless you.
You too.
All praises, man. So much inspiring calls, man, and conversations. I'm gonna take 2 more calls, and then I'm gonna wrap it up. I definitely got to call Brother Mike back. I seen him calling, And I seen a 347 number calling in as well too. Let me see if I could pull that up real quick. See his number popping up. Seen him calling. Well, Brother Mike, if you watching, call back this number. 646-439-6959. Now call back this number in the meantime. 347-564 area code. Before we wrap it up. It's been a great show. It's definitely been great hearing the testimonies and how the Most and you know, showing the examples of how the Most High is really helping our people. I see you calling that now. Okay, got you. See the number, right? Here it goes. Right, and this goes to show how beautiful it is that the Most High really is changing lives. Like this church is an example of how the Most High is changing lives. Brother Mike, what's going on? Shalom.
Shalom, Deke. How you doing, man?
I'm all right. What's going on, bro?
Good. You had some powerful testimonies on there about addiction. And you know, that's right up my alley.
Mm-hmm.
I went through that addiction thing, and my story was a little different than some of theirs in terms of how I got past it. It took my second trip to rehab for alcohol. And once I got there, I had the gift of desperation, and I did the 12 steps, and the 12 steps led me to the Most High. And then the Most High led me to my wife, which led us to this church. You know what I mean? But it was that process that changed my life. After I did step 5, all I wanted to do was serve God. I had never felt like that before in my life. And it was like my eyes got open, and ever since then, that's all I ever wanted to do. I don't really care about nothing else.
Right. But it took a process. It took a process of you changing the way you think.
Yeah, I had to go through the process. First, I had to admit I had a problem. Then I had to
confession, right?
Yeah, and then step 2, I had to know I was insane and that God could restore me to sanity. And then step 3, I had to turn my life and will over to the care of God. And then step 4, I had to do an inventory of my life. I had to write everything out. I had to put it's in 4 categories. I had to write down all my fears. I had to write down all the people I had resentments to. I had to write down all the people I harmed. And I had to write down my sex inventory. I had to write it all out. And then I had to be honest. And then I had a chance to look at myself and see who I really was. Because I could rationalize anything in my head.
Right.
But I had to write it all out. And once I saw it on the paper, I saw that I was disgusted at what I saw. But then when I got to step 5, I had to tell everything to my sponsor in detail. Everything that I did. And then it's me, him, and God in the room. And I got to tell him everything. And then after that, I felt like a baby. I felt naked. I felt ashamed. I couldn't, my ego, pride, and everything was crushed. And then we prayed. And he said, you gotta pray for God to forgive you, for God to make you a better person, and for God to give you strength to forgive yourself. And I looked at him and he said, you gotta forgive yourself because you were sick. So after we prayed, he said, now go to your room and think about what we did. So I caught an Uber back to my dorm, and I was walking into my room, looking at my bed, and then a warm sensation just went through my body. And a voice came in my head and said, all you have to do is serve me, and you never have to worry about nothing else. And it was like my eyes opened, and all I wanted to do was serve God. I had never felt like that before in my whole life. And on that day, I found my purpose. because once I got on my knees and asked them why did I go through my tragedy, 2 weeks later, I shared my story in front of the rehab, and the way people was looking at me, I knew then, all right, this is your purpose. You got to go save lives with your testimony. So that changed my life, and now I just practice those principles and serve God. Then I had to go out, and I had all them people that I harmed. I had to go step 8 and 9. I had to go apologize to them. I had to make amends to all those people. All the people I had to go seek them out, walk up to them, and apologize for stuff that I did. And it cleaned. After I did step 5, my vessel was clean from all of the anguish, the hurt, all the anger I had towards people, all of the shame, all of the guilt. Everything came out of me. And I ain't have no alcohol in me because I was in rehab, so that's why the Spirit was able to come in me.
Right.
So then when I went to the water, I had already got all that stuff out of me. And then the culmination was the baptism that really
sealed the deal. Yeah.
Solidified everything. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So when I came out the water, I didn't come out still hating people and still mad because of what happened when I was a kid. And I had worked through all of that when I did the steps. You know what I mean? So that's just I'm not saying what nobody else got to do or had to do or whatever. That's just my journey.
Right. Praise the Most High. Yeah, yeah. And that's what it took. And the Most High seen it fit to take you through that journey, because he knew if he probably took you out, took you another way or another route, it probably wouldn't have worked that way. So praise the Most High for your testimony, man, and for your journey.
And now one of my ministries is going I work out of rehab with kids, but I go to other rehabs to speak to the adults to tell them what he did for me.
And let me ask you, so, the fact that you go and you talk to these adults and these children in these rehab centers, have you seen? I know, I'm pretty sure you have, but have you seen any results from speaking to them and having people change?
I have a sponsee that I met at a place, a rally where I was speaking at, and the Most High put him in my path. I was about to leave the building. I was parked right behind the building, and I was leaving, and the Spirit said, "Go use the bathroom first." And I went in the bathroom, and then I was about to leave, and he came in, and once he came in, we talked. It took him 2 trips to go to rehab. He's my sponsee now, and now he just celebrated 7 or 8 months sober. And to see the person he was, and then to see the person who he is now, and seeing him, when you see somebody else go through the steps, and you see their transformation, to now they walking humbly because their ego and pride and all that stuff was crushed, and now they trying to work for God. It almost brings you to tears. And the people in the rehab centers, when I come to speak, they love to hear me speak because they say like, yo, here's the guy, he always talks about God. And we talk and we get into, that's who I'm known as. And I always give praises to the Most High when I go in there. But we get into real dialogue about what he did for me. And I try to tell him that the only reason that you here is because you're about to become a soldier for him to go help save people that's dealing with what you're dealing with.
Right.
Now, you can either use your story as your testimony, or you can use it as your excuse to keep killing yourself. You know what I mean? So I've seen a lot of results from it, man. Praise the Most High, all praises go to him. But I love doing it. Like, just to see that interaction, and when you see the Spirit is moving, it's like it's something that's undescribable. You got to be doing it. You understand it, though. When it's happening, unless you're doing it, you won't understand.
Right. Well,
it's hard, though. It's hard. It's hard in our community because
we taught to be tough and to hold things in. You don't gotta talk like that. That makes you soft. You expressing that.
And we don't go get help for alcohol.
Right.
See, I go to meetings daily. Most of the meetings I go to, I'm the only Israelite in the or so-called black in the building. We don't go for that. So it's a lot of people that's still dealing with the sickness, and it's so normal to them because we normalize alcoholism. We think it's okay for you and your friend to drink a whole bottle.
Right.
We don't know that's alcoholism.
Yep.
Like what the brother said earlier. After those 2 drinks, I could tell he did research. Because if you have more than 2 drinks, you might got a problem.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But we normalize that. So it's hard for us to really go get the help. And we enable our mates. Like one thing I want to say before I leave is, especially to all of us, like one thing I know about the other races when they come in, most of those men and women come in because they mate really put the hammer down. They filed for divorce, or they gave them ultimatums, or they did. We enable our people to keep doing the same things over and over again.
Yeah.
A lot of times in addiction, that person has to be cut off so they can get to their bottom. So every time you picking them up off the ground, putting them in the shower, you going to pick them up because they drunk, they're going to keep drinking. They're going to keep drinking.
Because you're enabling them.
Exactly. Exactly. So if you got kids by him and he don't want to stop, you got to stop him from seeing the kids. You got to eliminate all of that. That's the only time we get the picture.
Right. You got to see the cause of your action.
Exactly. But we think it's love because we know Uncle Jimmy, every cookout, he gets drunk and he sits over there in the corner and we know he's going to get drunk. You got to stop Uncle Jimmy from coming to the cookout.
Coming to the cookout, right.
Exactly. Because when you hear the stories of people in the meeting say, I could go to my family gatherings now. I can see my kids now because they got a year sober. They got 2 years sober. Their kids speaking to them again. That makes them want to change. We got to stop the enabling because that's killing our people because people are dying right in front of you and you saying, I got to just keep loving them, but you're really enabling them to kill themselves. You got to tell them straight up. Either you go get help or it's over.
It's over, right. You got to be cold, straightforward with it, right? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this last joint, then I'm going to yield. There was this story where this lady was, she was in the bathroom and she was getting drunk as usual or whatever, and she fell and hit her head. Now, her husband had been going through this with her for years. She fell and hit her head. She bust her head open. The husband wrapped the towel around her head, laid her on the pillow in the bathroom, and just left her there. She woke up in the morning. He came out. She cursed him out and said, how could you leave me there? I could have died. And he looked at her and said, if you didn't care, why would I care? And she said after that day, she knew she had to change her life.
Right. Powerful.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for your platform, man. I'm going to take that, the brother's video, and I'm going to play it for my kids at the rehab when I go to work so they can get some stuff from that.
Praise
I want to thank you for your services, man.
All praise be to the Most High, man. All praise be to the Most High.
All right, man.
The water for calling
in.
Take
care. I hope. All right, no doubt. Shalom.
All right, shalom, bro. Man, what a blessing. What a blessing. What a blessing. Oh, man, I'm just like, I know I got to go to bed. I got work in the morning, but it's like, yo, we could continue talking about it because, like, I know and I understand how the Most High is breaking these chains, for our people. And, we won't really know unless we talk about them because the Most High have done real things for our people, man. And it's like things that people in the world will look at and be like, yo, how'd you overcome that? How is that possible? And here it is. The Most High is allowing us to fix things that people in the world is still struggling with, dealing with. And we gotta be the light. That's what the scripture says, man. We are the light of the world. We are the light for the people to see that's in darkness. So we got to be able to, we got to set up, I believe we got to set up platforms and have like events as a church where, you know, we invite people and just speak about our issues and show them that there is a way. We can't just show them the word with no examples, because like it's gonna be like another word they heard. We got to be able to connect it for our people to see, like, yo, if the Most High could do this for him, he definitely could do it for me. So definitely, man, praise the Most High. I appreciate everybody who came in tonight, all the people who called in, all of the comments, concerns. Thank you guys for coming in. Thank you guys for just making the stream what it is. And I pray that this broadcast tonight, it falls upon the hands of somebody who actually needs help and they actually reach out, or this just hearing this helps them out in their walk, and they're able to prevail and to endure to the end. But with that being said, brothers and sisters, y'all already know what time it is. Yes. Thank you guys for coming in, and I appreciate you, man. I love you all. And also remember the feast is this weekend too. We in the 7th month. We're coming into the feast of trumpets, right? We're gonna sound the trumpets, and 10 days later, what? We in the feast of the Day of Atonement, where we atone, right? You know, you don't want to bring anything into that feast, right? You know, you want to be able to reflect between you and the Most High. You don't carry no grudges, right? Mend anything that you have to mend. Let go of whatever you have to let go of, and allow the Most High to operate with you, within you, to speak to you, right? So once again, brothers and sisters, shalom, peace and blessings.
You could be anywhere in the world, but you're now tuned into the Born of Levi experience.
Yes. So shalom, peace and blessings. Have a good night. I love you all. Stay prayed up and sin not. And of course, if it be the Most High will, we shall see Zion, right? So shalom. Bless you all. Have a good night.